he has good technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Famer.
Fighting through contact, fighting through the offensive line, being a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film, this is actual football talk. It's a football show, we're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are listening to another edition of Blewett's Blitz, live edition of Blewett's Blitz. New intro coming soon, Kyle, where I'm going to have your little name on there soon. It is coming, I promise. But this is the first time I am running it by myself without Lord Sabo monitoring from the skies. So hopefully I don't screw anything up. Hopefully we're live right now. But with all that being said, Kyle, what's up, man? I'm excited to talk some football with you.
I don't know if I should feel Robbie trusts me that much that he's letting me be here without him observing me. I don't know if Robbie's losing his mind to let that happen.
Or just with just me. It's a problem because I'm not a techie guy at all. Like I could barely, manage a Microsoft Word document. So streaming from multiple places and making sure we're live.
Dude, for years you didn't know what a mouse cursor was.
I just think I struggled with the word cursor. So yeah, I still say mouse, but every time I do say it during a show, I kind of have like a mental note where I'm like, yep, Kyle, like that's why I'll say it. Cause I go to say mouse, like, nope, my cursor, but what's up? Yasmar, I think I know I've seen you here before. I'm just not sure if I'm butchering that name. Mike, Ben, Eagle.
I would
Gordon,
pronounce it Yosemar.
Zach, Yosemar.
Yosemar. But it could be
Elias.
The Y could be a J sound. Maybe.
So we have a lot to talk. This is gonna be a fun show because we have a lot to talk about. It's 6:04 now. I think the over/under is gonna be 3.5 hours. Kyle, we'll see if we get through all the topics. Do you have a Elijah Moore shirt on?
Yes.
Were you flexing that? Were you purposely sitting up in your chair to show your 8? Are you sure?
No, but I did plan on once we started talking about him to do that.
Okay,
because I wasn't trying to do it right now.
We kind of got to a period where I was like kind of like looking at you. You're kind of just like.
No.
It's like my wife I'm not noticing her haircut or something like that. You're kind of like flexing it out so I could see your shirt. Did you get your Jets X Factor shirt yet?
No, I didn't. Listen, I'm telling you, bro, the last time I went on the website, the shop was closed. And then
we should be
I think I'm saying the last time I went on, this is a couple weeks ago. Now I guess you're telling me it's up, but based on our last discussion and the people in the chat can let me know, sounded like you were going to send me a shirt. Based on our last discussion.
That's why I was asking if you received it. I should have corrected myself because I think we were supposed to be sending you one. So we can get on Saba. I know he's busy right now, but we should be sending you one. But yeah, I think it's JetX shop. We don't have a lot of shirts up there just because we had a lot of like Becton stuff, man stuff, all the stuff. And we took it down just to be careful because we don't want to piss off the Jets. We want to be on good grounds with them, so it'll be back up soon. But what's up everybody in here? Joe, call me Yoshi instead. Keishan? We have a couple of different difficult names in here, but like I said, we have to talk about. I guess we can talk about the preseason game a little bit, Kyle. We'll talk about that a little bit later, like what we want to see. I'm not really sure, what exact amount of snaps we're going to see from some of the starters, but we'll talk about that a little bit. We talk about training camp, obviously. We have to wrap up with some superlatives, and then the main meat and potatoes of the show is going to be us. Comparing the Jets roster to the AFC East rosters and see kind of where they stack up in position groups to the AFC East. Obviously, you had a whole show about this for years, so you should be pretty good at this. And it's obviously pretty important. We're going to see these teams 6 games out of this year, so we want to compare. And then we're going to do something more fun. Again, another offseason type thing. And I kind of like figuring out like topics we can do, like get creative. And we're going to draft the Jets roster against each other. So we're both going to start off with Zach Wilson, and then we're going to draft back and forth and see who has the better team. And then maybe people can tell us how much better my roster is going to be than yours, because it's inevitable. I have some tricks up my sleeve with how I know how to draft the Jets roster, because there's some positions, if you don't get some guys, you are, excuse my French, but you are fucked. So it's going to be a good time. So
well, you better beat me then, because you prepped for that and I didn't. That's the only thing I didn't.
No, I kind of know where my first couple of picks are going to go, depending on what you're going to do. So what's up, Craig? Sheldon Rankins. Yeah, I seen that he's making some noise in training camp too. But let's do training camp first. Kyle, because a lot of people have already covered it. So we'll do it while the people are starting to join in. We'll go through that. So far, I'll just go through the list of what I heard. It's not in any fancy order or anything like that. The first thing I saw of the first day was Becton coming into shape or coming into camp really chiseled up. So to kind of ease your mind a little bit with Becton and looking how he does, because he walked in at 365, 360, whatever it was, it looked like. And he was about as slim of a 360 as you can possibly get. So we had some concerns with the foot and all that. And maybe it's his dedication, him not eating right and all that stuff. But I don't think, based on how his body looks, it doesn't look like he could be taking care of himself any better. So did that kind of ease you a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, like, he looked even better than he looked last year.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. I mean, just in terms of physical, how he looked. I mean, like, is he moving the same? I mean, I'm not in training camp, so I'm not seeing him. I know he's getting beat by Carl Lawson a lot, but yeah, that did take away a little concerns though, because especially like, what was it, like the first day or whatever? Mekhi Becton, they said Mekhi Becton won't comment on what he weighs, or one of the coaches wouldn't comment on. And I was like, oh,
he's like avoiding it. Yeah.
I was thinking like, what is he up to? Like 380, 385, 390? Like those questions ran through my head, but hearing, but then seeing the pictures and, hearing now that he's like in the 360s, I'm pretty happy with that. And I think that, it's going to be a constant thing that he's going to have to work throughout his whole career. But if he stays working with Duke, if he sticks with the diet, you could get 10 solid years out of him, but it's not going to be easy for him. He's going to be one of these guys that's going to have to continue to work at it. And we'll see, if he stays hungry. I mean, right now he could have slouched off, having a pretty good rookie year and then say, oh, I'm the shit now. And then, just kind of ballooned up. But, he's already working for that second contract. And hopefully when he does get that second contract, and hopefully it's with the Jets, hopefully he doesn't slack off after then, because sometimes that happens with players, but we'll see.
Yeah. What is up, Jeremy? I see you. I saw this is your second time in here, I think. Burnt Dice. Stephen. I forgot. I'm calling you Stefan. I know it's Steven. I'm calling you Stefan. I'm calling him Stefan. He's from Monmouth County. It's okay. He's my guy from Monmouth County. So what's up, everybody? Yeah, it eases me a little bit too. Obviously he still has a ton of weight on it regardless. You have to monitor it as time goes, but him doing as much as he possibly can is obviously a positive sign. He's been healthy. So that's a positive. And again, I'm just going kind of in chronological order of what I heard, the big tidbits from each day. And then we're just going down the list. I don't want to hit on this for too long, Kyle, because it's in the past. But the whole Wilson thing, him not showing up for the first 2-3 days, what were your thoughts about that? Were you kind of like, what were your thoughts on the Jets stance, Wilson's stance? Where were you at with that?
Honestly, I was a little annoyed first 2 days, but that's like the fan of me, like, panicking and stuff. I'm like, oh shit. Like, and I understood it, like from his agent's perspective, like, honestly, his agent had like a lot of leverage. Like, hey, listen, you're rolling with this rookie who just took second overall and you just traded your other supposed franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and I tweeted about it and I said, like, part of the reason I think his agent's playing hardball is he knows the Jets are rolling with Wilson. There's literally no one else who's a threat to start week 1. So the agent could afford to play hardball. And I think Zach really wanted to be there and sign. And I think that was mostly just the agent. And then I think like a lot of it was like, but honestly, I was annoyed though the first 2 days. Cause like Salah said, every practice is important. Every rep is important. The benefit is, so take, all right, the other big quarterbacks that were taken, not Lawrence, but Fields and Lance, they're splitting first team reps. Lance with Jimmy Garoppolo and Fields with Andy Dalton. The benefit to Wilson is, of course, he's not getting all the reps in camp, but he's getting the overwhelming majority. Like, and I'm not reading all the reports. Maybe this, Joe, maybe someone in the chat knows this. I have to figure, like, does Morgan or White ever get any reps with the ones when they're going in teams? I don't know that, but I have to assume that percentage wise, Wilson is getting so much more percentage wise reps with the ones than either Fields or Lance are. And the benefit to that is that we really don't. I know that we just signed Josh Johnson, so maybe he'll get some. But
first team reps, I don't think. No, Wilson's taking all of them. But in general, like for in that situation, like, yeah, it's annoying. Again, the fan in you gets really annoyed. And there's two reasons he could have been, which was the offset language and which was the bonuses. If it was the bonuses and when he got the bonuses, it's stupid. Give him the bonus. But there's also the offset language where basically, if you know how it works, if he gets cut within his contract, if a team picks him up for $5 million, whatever it is, they take on the extra load that we don't have to pay, basically. You know how that works? Should I act?
No,
I know how this works.
And probably we have to assume that maybe not everyone knows.
Okay, so the Jets signed for, let's just say, $10 million over the whole contract. Last year, he has $4 million on his contract. They cut him. Another team picks him up with the offset language. Let's say they sign him for $2 million. The Jets are only signing for him. They'll only have to pay $2 million versus that $3 million or whatever they have left on the contract. Where if they don't have that offset language, he gets all the money from the Jets and the money from the new team as well. Now people ask, why is that a big deal? You're basically you're banking on your guy to fail, and if you trade him anyway, I think it's more of a it's kind of taking like a hard stance with the agent type thing. Like, okay, well now Quinnen Williams' agent sees that Zach Wilson got this offset language. Why is Quinnen Williams not getting it? Now the next rookie is going to say, oh well, he got it. Why can't I get it? So if you're setting a precedent, if you give him that offset language, that everybody's going to get it, and you can't just say, oh well, he's Zach Wilson. It's just one time, because everybody's going to hammer you for that and say, oh, so my guy's not as valuable to you as Zach Wilson, which obviously it's the quarterback, but like, so it was stupid. And people ask, and
I mean, listen, just to give like an example that, cause I'm a teacher and everyone in here who's gone, probably most people in here have gone to school in some capacity. If I started making exceptions for certain students, like, oh, you can eat in class. Yeah. Then other students are going to be like, well, you let Joe eat in class. Why can't I?
Goddamn right you did.
I mean, so like it does set that. And what was it? Like almost like 30 out of 32 teams.
The Jaguars the Jaguars and the Rams are the only teams who don't have that offset language.
So, basically the whole NFL uses that model. And I don't have a problem with the Jets taking a hardball stance with that. And who knows exactly what the whole discussions were and stuff. And I guess some of it had to do with the bonus too. So
and you could look at it like, and there's stuff behind the works. Like it's always like there's more layers to it. Like it could be that agency be like, we're going to try to take this to the Jets. It's the number 2 pick in the draft. Lawrence didn't have that offset language, so they're the highest example we can make. And look, oh my God, let's sign with that agent now because he got Wilson that offset language. I want to sign with those guys. So like, there's a bunch of different things. Craig said you should let the children eat, Kyle. What's up, Frank? Jeremy's dismissing some kids from school. School is going on right now. I don't know where he lives. In August, I don't know.
Some private schools.
Elias, I think he wants to talk about Mims. We'll talk about Mims in a little bit. Eagle, of course, wants to talk about Herndon because he hates him. I'm not a big fan either, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But moving on from the Wilson stuff again.
By the way, I don't mind. They're not children. I teach young adults, high schoolers. I don't mind letting them eat. I could get yelled at by administration for that though, because kids tend to make a mess and the custodians complain and then we get bugs and stuff. So
moving on from Wilson again, it was annoying, but I get it kind of from both sides, and people will be like, oh, well, why couldn't they get it done earlier? It's not like a round of speed chess where you have to respond within 10 minutes. So like an offer could be out to you, Kyle, for a month, and you can just continue to say no. And if neither of us can agree, we're not going to agree. It's not like, oh, we can kind of have some offset language. It's like you do or you don't. So it can sit on the table for a while. There are some rumors that they started negotiating late, which would make no sense, but I don't really know. But moving on, that's kind of old news. The next thing that we noticed, or that a lot of fans noticed, was that Mosley came in at 231, the lightest since I think Alabama, or like his first year at Alabama. Regardless, it's really light because I know he's a guy in the past played around mid 240s. So what do you think about Mosley? He does look really, really thin, and obviously playing in more of a system with Saleh. Ask your linebackers to cover more, and just with age in general, him being 29 years old, you want to take less stress off your body, so you want to lighten up. But he does look really, really trim, and he looks good.
Yeah, I'm generally a fan of when players get in their latter stages of their career, when they start to lighten up a bit, because when you get older, it's just natural. You're not going to be as fast. You're going to lose that athleticism. Your mind makes up for it. Just take another crosstown rival example, Michael Strahan. You know, he played, what was it? Maybe 280 plus for a good portion of his career. And then he started cutting, you know, and he was playing around like 260, maybe even 255 for the last couple of years of his career. And he attributes a lot of his late stage, you know, success to him cutting that weight. I know it's not the same exact position as Mosley, but, you know, the NFL as a linebacker nowadays, you got to move. And who knows? I didn't listen to Mosley's press conferences if he said reasons why he decided to cut and how much of it was based on, it's a different scheme. But supposedly he looks really good. And, you know, I'm generally a fan of players when they get older cutting weight. I mean, listen, he doesn't look like he's skinny and he just hasn't been hitting the weights and he's losing muscle mass.
Yeah, he's not like frail.
And that's why he's down to 231. No, it's like he's in good shape. He's watching what he's eating and he's at 231 because he's in good shape. It's hard to be upset with that.
Yeah. I'll go to the chat. Sorry if I missed some stuff again. Some stuff passes me because there's, you know, a decent amount of people in here, then more come in later. Super chats are always available. I'm not ever going to push for that because a lot of you already subscribe to the website, so I don't need super chats. But if I miss something, you really want it in there. A couple questions. Elias asks you if you yell at people for being on their phones, Kyle, which I'm assuming you do, or at least discipline them. I'm
not much of a yeller.
You're a firm talker.
No, it's like, all right, so take it like this. And I'm not, it's totally different. You know, kids in public school don't want to be there. People in the NFL, they want to be there. But like, take like someone like Robert Saleh. Like he's got a good relationship with his players. His players respect him. They're going to listen to him when he talks. And I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I think that the overwhelming majority of my students respect me. So you don't really need to yell. And when you do yell, you're going to lose respect from them. So I try not to, I mean, sometimes you got to raise your voice sometimes, but.
So last week you compared yourself to Ronald Blair. Now you got some solid in you. Who else are you, Kyle? We got
wait, is that guy who called me Ronnie in here right now?
No, not yet. I don't see him. Yoshi asked if what do you think about the Kemba Walker move to the Knicks? So we'll do this quick. I don't want to spend time on the Knicks, but
I guess I was kind of happy with it. It doesn't seem like they're paying him an insane contract. I don't follow basketball that closely. I heard that he's had a lot of injuries over the recent years. So, I mean, it's cool that Derrick Rose is, you know, doesn't have to play, you know, a huge amount of minutes or whatever, but you're asking the wrong guy. Basketball.
Ben is asking something about Bless. We'll get to Bless in a little bit. Somebody asked if you did something different to your hair.
No,
Mike asked.
No, I didn't. Nothing different. I got a haircut, but 2 days
somebody's
ago,
talking about an Eagles fan who's saying Zach will suck and the Jets will only win 3 games. I would put a lot of money on that.
He will definitely be better than
Stephen.
Jalen Hurts.
Stephen said, hey, Ron, what's good, buddy? So I guess I don't know if he's asking. I don't know if that's you.
Wait, what did he say?
He said, hey, Ron. Carmelo, what's up? Somebody's asking about Joe Judge. If you go to Joe Judge on your students. Yeah.
Only when I'm breaking up fight. I've had to break up a lot of fights over the years.
Me too. Steven says, go Devils, add in Pete. Yeah, I like what the Devils are doing. Moving on. The next kind of thing was that Mims is rotating more with the second and third team. I know he's playing a little bit with the ones too, but it does seem he's dropping a little bit on the depth chart overall. What do you think about the whole Mims thing and not being, you know?
I'm not worried about Mims and honestly, it could be. And I know that, you know, Saleh doesn't exactly strike me like he's the type of coach to do this, but yeah, it could be something along the lines of, you know, just, okay, we're doing this just to kind of, you know, poke him a little bit to motivate him a little bit more. But it could also just be like, you know, I view both Mims and Corey Davis as like that X type of receiver on the line of scrimmage. Right. Mm-hmm. And you'd have to imagine that Corey Davis get the contract. I mean, veteran experience, his draft stock, and what the contract that they just gave him, he's the number one right now. So that by extension would put Mims with the second team. Now, he's had some reps with the third team. What does that mean? Some reps. You take 1 rep with the third team. Like, I'm really not that concerned with it. I'm telling you, when the pads come on, they start playing games, this guy's going to play a lot of snaps, and he's good when he's on the field and he doesn't have a dog shit quarterback throwing him the ball. He makes plays.
Yeah.
When he starts making more plays in actual games, you're going to have to put him on the field more. Simple as that.
Yeah, go and you can go back to the games where, like, if you go to his game logs and just look at the games he played well, like the Pats game, the Chargers game, whatever games they were, you can literally go back to the shows I did.
Dolphins game.
And Eagle, who's in here, always timestamps from right. So you could probably go back and see where Mims was. And I talk about it for 10 minutes and stuff like that, or 10, 20 minutes, and break down the film. And he was good even just last year, without a training camp, without a preseason, missing some of the season. Now he's going to his second year. And like you said, there's a couple different things. One, he has to earn a spot. He's minus Moore, who seems like he's just at a different level right now. But in general, you're talking about X and an X. So yeah, maybe they want to play one of them at a Z a little bit during the season, but maybe they're just getting Mims comfortable as an X to rotate in for Davis. So that pushes him right down to the second team. Maybe they want him in certain looks on the third team. So it's not a huge deal. But in general, you have Davis, who's a lot more experienced, Crowder, who's a lot more experienced, Cole, who's a lot more experienced, and Moore, who's a completely different receiver. So he might be on the field where Mims isn't, because again, he's not that X. They're putting him at slot and Z and whatever else they're doing with Elijah Moore. So I'm not overly worried about it. People, again, it becomes, and there's a lot of podcasts that talk about this, but like, there's not a lot of problems around the Jets right now. So like, this is the worst thing we're experiencing with Mims. So we're kind of overinflating what it actually means. It's
not your quarterback's jaw was just.
Yeah. So like, and like, I think Rogan talks about it a lot just in general, like, the worst thing somebody's experienced is the worst thing they've experienced type deal. So like, you can have a person who's been living in poverty for 10 years and that's terrible. But then you have the rich girl from California who loses her iPhone and is crying for 2 days, like they're two different, but to her, that's the worst thing she's ever experienced. I think that's kind of what's happening right now with Mims, is like, there's not a lot of bad going on. So we're kind of overinflating what it means, but he was good last year. And he does have to work.
There are a couple clips I'm seeing at camp. Like, I'm seeing catches that we haven't seen a lot of Jets players make, like some of these big grabs where he's going up, like I think it was like an out route or something like that. And he goes and climbs the ladder, so to speak, as one person put it on Twitter, and goes up and gets it. You're not seeing Jets receivers make a catch like that since Brandon Marshall. Right.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not really worried. I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think people are overreacting. People say he's not flash. Like, we're not there. And again, I don't necessarily, no offense to the beat writers, I don't necessarily go to them for their football opinions. So I don't know what's going on the field. So
I don't give a shit. Like, and it's not you saying it. And I know Sabo's not even here. I said this on Twitter before. Other than Robbie, I don't think guys on the beat really know. And it's sad that you work football for a living and then they know that little about scheme and player evaluation, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
With the Jets beat, they are really, really ignorant.
Wow. I see Assassin in here. I haven't seen him in a while. What's up, Assassin? So I'm not going to trust them. Oh, Mims isn't performing.
Oh wait, Assassin. Assassin's the second place guy in the pool.
Oh yeah, he was on. Should we do that again?
Wait, hold up. Let's go back to the shirt again for a moment. He's talking about a shirt. He's asking me if I got my shirt yet. You're supposed to. I should be 2 shirts, man.
Listen,
I won the damn pool.
Assassin. Since I did live streams last year, I'm now an owner of the website, so I'll get you a shirt, Assassin, for coming in second. That's fine. You'll get one too, though, Kyle. It's fine. I don't know if we should do.
Disrespect is unreal.
I don't know if we should do that. Like pick the games again and see who comes in first and send a shirt or a free year subscription, whatever it is, or if we should maybe do a fantasy league or something. But I don't know if you do fantasy, Kyle.
Well, let's do a fantasy league.
Yeah, maybe we'll figure something out. Moving on.
All the Jet X guys.
Moving on from the Mims stuff again. I don't think it's too big of a deal. Lack of experience with a bunch of experienced guys. He might start from a little bit behind. It is what it is. He played well last year when he was in the game. Like, don't look at his last couple of games when he was with Sam Darnold, because nobody played well with Sam Darnold. He was a lot more productive with Joe frickin' Flacco. So I'm hoping that Zach Wilson should jump from Joe Flacco, so when he does see the field, he can still be productive. The next topic of training camp, Kyle, is the Lawson Becton thing. Lawson is dominating, like every single rep, getting multiple sacks. There was a play, I guess, a couple of practices ago where he literally beats Becton so quick that he's like standing behind Zach Wilson with his hands on his hips, like waiting for him to go through his progressions, and just literally just like standing there, like I could sack you right now, but I'm not going to. So because like there's two sides to it, because like just like what I can't even think of the word, but you could be really happy for Lawson, but at the same time, on the other side of the corner, you're like, shit, Becton's getting beat all the time. Like, where are you with that matchup?
Well, like some people have already indicated, and you hear this every year, the defense is always ahead this time of the year. Naturally, just the way that the NFL is designed and the players are so fast, it takes a lot of practice before you get things going with offense. Like even things like, just the timing of the routes, for example. Like, I don't listen to a lot of player interviews, but I was listening to Zach the other day because I like Zach and I want to get familiar with him. He's a hell of a lot more interesting than Sam Darnold was. And he was talking about how he underthrew Elijah Moore on a deep route. And then like he came back to him later, like Elijah told him in the huddle, it's like, yeah, it's okay. We'll come back to it. And then he got him a couple plays later on like the same type of route or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, that takes a lot of time. And it's different and I know that Zach was throwing to Elijah in the offseason and stuff. So they already have some type of rapport with each other, but it's different when you're running against defensive backs and stuff, and they're disrupting your route and it's throwing off the timing and stuff. Offense takes time to get in a rhythm and a flow and things. So we're still in the first week of training camp or so. That stuff's going to take time. So the defense is ahead of the offense. And the same thing kind of goes for offensive linemen. Most days have been without full pads and stuff. So that naturally is going to go to the defensive advantage as well. I almost want to say, like, when I hear that Lawson is such a beast, I almost want to say, like, I'm not surprised. Like,
yeah.
Like that was my favorite signing. And I don't even know if we got to the superlatives yet. That was one of the things that you wrote down. And that was my answer. It was like Carl Lawson was easily, like my favorite offseason signing easily.
Yeah.
He is a monster. And we were talking, I think it was last show that we did 2 weeks ago. We were talking about how there was some kind of stat that, Carl Lawson like ranked really high in the league in being the first pressure to a quarterback. Because it is possible on any given play that multiple players could get a pressure on a quarterback. And one thing that I stated was Olivier Vernon, when I used to watch a lot of Dolphins tape a couple of years ago, he had a lot of pressures the year that he was in a contract year. A lot of pressures. He graded super high. Like Pro Football Focus had him as like a top 10, borderline top 5 edge rusher. And you watch Olivier Vernon's tape, you see, all right, this is a good player, but he is not, like, they were putting him in company of guys like Khalil Mack and stuff and Von Miller. And he's nowhere at like PFF grade wise, he was there, but he's nowhere close to those types of players. And honestly, if you watch Dolphins tape from 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was, you could clearly tell that Cameron Wake was the better edge rusher who would get to the opposing quarterback and oftentimes chase him off, move him off his spot slightly. And then he would kind of move him into Olivier Vernon's range where Olivier Vernon would also get a pressure. So anyway, there was this crazy stat, and I don't know if we put it on the screen or whatever.
We discussed this. Yeah.
We discussed it. But Carl Lawson is like top 5 in the league amongst other elite rushers.
Yeah.
Like Myles Garrett and Joey Bosa and the other Bosa, Nick Bosa.
TJ
Watt, all elite edge rushers. Carl Lawson was up there like with first pressure. So when we hear that not only is he beating Becton all this much, and that he's getting there so quickly, like I'm really not that surprised, especially like now part of me wants to say like, okay, Mekhi, you need to pick your game up too, but we also have to be honest. And this is something we talked about a lot. Mekhi struggles more at this stage of his career in the pass game than he does in the run game.
Yeah.
So, and he needs to work on some things with his technique.
And people bring it up too, like the matchup in terms of the height difference is actually a big disadvantage for Becton just in terms of natural leverage. And we talk about like him, like especially taller guys like Moses and Becton, they really have to consciously shoot their hands from relatively low because again, shooting at a high angle, you hit the top of the shoulder, it slips over the shoulder. You're not hitting that main surface area that you need to really affect the rusher. So it's kind of hard for him.
And then when you miss with your hands and a rusher like Carl Lawson, if you miss and your arm is out there and you miss, he's going to get, he's taking
your chest.
The chest plate is right open. He's in a crazy bull rusher. He is taking you for a ride.
Yeah. Go into the chat real quick before we get to the next thing. Assassin. Yeah. Just send me your, I don't know if you have a Twitter, but either DM me on Twitter or email me Joe.Blewett, BLEWETT at jets with an S, xfactor.com. And I'll get you the shirt. Some people are talking about the Brian Costello and Samini and all these people. We're not talking about the beat, and some of the beat writers do suck. Let's just be honest. But I'm not saying they all suck. I'm saying in terms of, do I trust them to go to them and say, do they know what they're talking about with film? And do they know what they're talking about on a football field? And without the film, like they're on the level with them 50 yards away or 20 yards away. Like it's really hard to tell. So I don't trust anything they say.
Well, listen, this is basic, but what are the chances that if you asked Rich Samini, like you just came up to him right at practice, and I actually spoke with Rich once in person, and you just asked him, hey, Rich, can you define an overfront for me? What are the chances you think he's going to just know that off the top of his head? And that's pretty basic.
Zero.
Yeah. So, I mean, like that's where, it doesn't mean that they're a bad writer. It doesn't mean that they're all, like a hack or they're not genuine in their reporting or that they're reporting with fake sources or whatever. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying like, I just don't think a lot of them are like really smart when it comes to like analyzing the actual game of football.
Yeah. What's up, Javid? Haven't seen you here in a little bit. Big Green said, love the Oklahoma drill guys, the JetX guys. Yep. Got to check that out as well. Some talk about Mims.
Who's the other Vitor, and who's the other host of that?
Vitor, Andrew, and Matt. I forget what his last name is. He's from Gangrene Nation too. But people talk about Mims routes again. We talk about Mims routes a lot. He was good at running routes in college, or he was decent at it, and it just didn't translate yet because I think he's rushing a little bit. But it's not like people act like his routes were never good. False. It's just false. People talking about Lawson versus Greg Little week 1. Yeah, the Jets defensive line versus the Carolina Panthers offensive line, especially considering Sam Darnold's issues with the rush. It's not going to be good. That's the main reason I think we win that game. Let's see. Let's get to the other chat. What's up? Adler said, what's good? What's up, Adler? Somebody talk about Lawson. Michael P. Ryan. We're going to talk about all this stuff. We got a bunch of stuff here. We're trying to sort through any like questions I see. I would like to address all of this stuff, but sometimes I can't. Maybe I'll start doing like a freaking questions only to the chat live stream, like every once in a while. Brian Burns. Okay. Moving on. The next thing that we've been talking about, and yeah, it's good. It's so overused, and it's like one of those things I almost want to mute on my Twitter timeline. Iron sharpens iron. Yes, it's good for both of them. Obviously, playing against good guys in practice is very good. So yeah, you want to hear Becton maybe winning a little bit more, but Becton at this point is nearing a top 10 left tackle, top 10, top 15. And he'll have some lapses.
He's definitely top 15
in terms of his pass protection. And then you take a guy in Lawson who is a freak of nature, super technically sound and aggressive as hell, who I think legitimately is one of the top rushers in the league. He's going to struggle at times. Like Lawson knows a lot more than Becton does, just in terms of being in the league for longer. Next, Moses versus Fant. Apparently it's a competition. I think we both think Moses wins it. I don't think it's as far off as some people think it is, where Moses blows Fant out of the water. But I do think Moses wins it. He's been healthier. He's obviously more of a grizzled vet. He has more time. He's seen more. He's healthy. So I think he does win it. But it was interesting to hear that it was a competition, and Fant was obviously out with COVID for a little bit too. So he has the advantage of just being there for longer. Mm-hmm. Anything to add to that, or you want me to just keep going?
No, I agree with you that I think Moses will win it.
Yeah. Pat Elfline starting too. Good mention there, Ben. Pat Elfline.
And by the way,
Greg Little.
Matt Paradis, their center,
is
Who-
garbage since moving there.
Yeah, and I remember
Who's the right guard?
The Jets
know-
were supposed to sign him,
Yeah.
and everyone was just crying when he went to Carolina.
Yeah. Who's the right guard? Because I know the tackle Moten is good, but I think the right guard's not that good either. Like the Jets defensive line versus the Carolina Panthers offensive line is as uneven as a matchup as you're possibly going to get. Jeremy said, question for Joe. Thank you for putting question 4, because that makes it really easy to read. Do you think Bryce Hall is at worst a solid QB2? I don't think at worst he's a solid QB2. I think that's kind of at best. Like I think he's at his ceiling is a really good number 2. I just don't think he has the necessary elite top level athleticism to match up with all the number 1s around the league. I think he could be a really solid 2. I think that's what he will be, but I can't say his ceiling is also his floor. So I think his floor, he's a really good depth player, but I would bet on him being a number 2 cornerback in the league and a pretty good one at that, because I think he's really technically sound. So I think that's what he'll be.
So Richard Sherman is kind of like that one. And dude, for so many years, like when we saw in the early 2010s, 2011, 2012, 2013, when the Legion of Boom was really at its peak and Richard Sherman was kind of taking the league by storm, he was kind of like that one rare example of a big corner that was like really elite. And like for a while, the league was trying to draft all these 6'2", plus type of cornerbacks and trying to get them to become that. And a lot of those guys just really never panned out. And here's like the difference in my mind between like Hall and Sherman. Like they're not great movers, both of them. So like, but you think like Hall's pretty technical, smart, hard worker. Sherman's obviously smart and things like that. But Sherman has that size and that length that Hall will never have. So it's harder to see Hall having like a Sherman type of ceiling, even though Sherman's not a good athlete and even though Hall's not a good athlete. You understand what I'm saying? Blewett?
Yeah, Blewett. What is it?
Yeah. You're looking at me like I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So
no, I get it. I was trying to.
So what I'm saying is I can't really see him being a solid cornerback 1, but to say at worst a solid cornerback 2, like he needs to put in a lot of work to get there to be a solid cornerback 2. Like,
yeah,
we saw some good things last year. His college film was good.
Yeah.
But he still has a long ways to go to get there to be a solid cornerback 2. So
I think that's what he will be, but I can't just say that's his floor, But moving on, somebody said John Miller is the right guard. Yeah, he's trash. So
he's pretty old too. He's pretty old at this point.
The Panthers offensive line. Yeah, somebody, thank you for putting it in here. He said it's left tackle to right tackle. It's Irving, Elfline, Paradis, Miller, Moten.
So Cam Irving's a journeyman. Who was
regardless, and then somebody said
it was definitely a bust. I mean, he never lived up to the first round hype.
Yeah. Elfline's garbage. They're garbage. But then somebody said, yeah, same with their receivers versus our corners. But you need one. Okay, you could say that, but then you also need a quarterback who's a quick decision maker and a good decision maker to be able to get the ball out quick. And based on what I've seen, they don't have that quarterback to get the ball out quick when guys are wide open. So I've seen a couple of plays of him, watching some guys run 10-yard open dig routes over the middle and just pass on them to take a sack, and then people blame it on the offensive line. Moving on to the next topic, 113 people in here. What's up, everybody? I appreciate everybody joining. This is our new time, every other Thursday, minus a few, things where I'll be in Antigua or getting, whatever. We'll be doing every Thursday, 6 to 8, 6 to 9.
Every other Thursday.
Every other Thursday. That's what I said.
You said that at first, and then when you repeated yourself, you said every Thursday.
We're going to talk about Bryce Huff in a little bit. P. Ryan and Michael Carter are impressing, apparently, at running back. I've heard a little bit about Carter, too. And this is the position that in camp, I think you could take the least away from, because I used to go to camp, too, with both Jet Nation and TOJ. I had, the press pass where, I could go into the practices that the fans couldn't go into, which was cool, but kind of sucked because the traffic blows and practice is kind of boring after the initial, this is really cool in my practice. And running backs, you can't really tackle them. So every run looks like he gets busted. So cool, I guess. I guess it's good that they're both impressing, but everybody kind of impresses. Who was that really fast late round.
Trenton Cannon?
No, North Carolina. It was a while ago. Like UDFA from North Carolina, fast as hell. They picked him up, and everybody was like, that was the big like, UDFA that year, and for the Jets. And then he was impressive in camp, and then he sucked. Somebody will drop in the chat because our people are smart. I just forgot exactly who it was, but yeah, it's good that they're impressing Piron and Carter. We'll get into our roster prediction next week with this 53-man roster prediction. We still have the top 25 player, or players of the roster we're doing. So we'll see where they finish. If Piron finishes on the squad, but it's a positive that he's playing well. Obviously, it's better than a negative report because he was a 4th round draft pick last year, and people killed the pick. But to me, he kind of looked like almost like a. This is not a direct comparison, but like how Corey Davis is really good at everything, but not great at one thing. He's like a downgraded version. To me in college, like a downgraded or graded version of that, where he was pretty solid at everything, but not really elite at one thing. So I thought he was going to be like a solid role player, a running back backup, the 1B, the 1C type guy. And his first year, say what you want, he disappointed. Like Kyle, we both saw it. You watched the shows. Like his vision was terrible year one, but you hope he bounces back, and it's positive. We're hearing good stuff about him in camp. It's better than negative. So.
Yeah, I'll say one positive. I mean, running back is usually that position where there's the least learning curve.
Yeah.
Like so many rookie running backs just tear it up in the NFL. But Powell did struggle his rookie year. Bilal Powell, he was not very good his rookie year. And he's kind of one of those unique examples of like a guy who just took such a huge jump from year 1 to year 2. I don't know. So maybe P. Ryan was working out a lot this offseason. He wants it. Maybe he's one of these guys who's on Twitter and seeing a lot of people, slighting him and things like that.
And he's a guy who responds to that stuff too.
Maybe, but someone Adler Jack is saying, is P. Ryan running back too? Honestly, I still don't think so.
No, I still think based on what I saw Ty Johnson in a limited, snap count last year. And then obviously with Carter, with Coleman, I still think he's going to be 3 or 4, but if he can work his way to number 2 eventually, that's great. Zach asked about Bryce Huff. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Ben says putting Sam Darnold in good decision maker just don't go together. NY Jets Tails. I don't know if I've seen you in here before, but welcome. Alex Hunt. I don't know if I've seen him either, but he said Coleman's definitely running back 1. Watch the review when it comes out. I don't, I think initially he might be the 3rd down back, but I'm not a huge Coleman guy. Maybe initially he is, but somebody asked, or NY Jets Field, again, welcome, says, is there anything to be said about who is given up for media availability with Ty being at the podium today? It makes me wonder if the coaching staff is behind him being on the final roster. Yeah, I don't really know. I guess
which player? I'm sorry, I was reading.
Ty Johnson was like made available. I say I usually you don't hear from like the lower tier players. Like they try to put up guys who are a little bit more kind of hyped up, I guess. So I guess it's kind of positive that he was up there. But even without that, I think he makes the roster. I think you saw too much of what he was last year in a limited sample size. Like he played really well, and 2, he's at feedback that really fits this system really well. So yeah. I think he makes it regardless.
He played such a limited role last year, but you could just clearly see that, he's fit for this type of outside zone scheme. Mm-hmm. That Rams game, the game that they won out in LA, he looked really, I don't want to say really good in that game. He looked good in that game for sure. I think him and Josh Adams definitely got some good burn in that Raiders game too. He looked pretty good in that game too. Mm-hmm. So, you didn't see that type of all right. So first of all, just guys, do yourself some favor. You'll have a lot of fun watching. He just passed away. Alex Gibbs, the father of Outside Zone. There's so many of his clinics online. And one thing he stresses over and over is, with this type of scheme, like you got to run it often because, like everyone, and he says like, we commit to it because it takes a lot of practice. Backs need to learn how to read this. And if you're throwing in a ton of gap stuff too, backs aren't going to get used to it as much. So anyway, you got to commit to the outside zone. But one thing he stressed, and Warwick Dunn was not the biggest, wasn't the fastest player. Just watch those old coaching clinics and you will see how much Alex Gibbs loves Warwick Dunn for his decision making, that he can read when, okay, I'm going to bounce it here. I'm going to make the cut back here. I'm going to bang it up here. The three reads, Joe.
I always, when I'm going through those reviews and I say, oh yeah, he banged the hole there perfectly, I'm always like, fuck. Like I know, I know you can cut that or whatever, but that's the reads, a bang, bounce, and bend. So
we just, the thing is you didn't see that type of decisiveness, that type of explosiveness. Okay. Oh, P Ryan. Okay. I see it right here. I'm going to squirt through the hole right here. You didn't see that, but you saw that with Johnson. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, just based on what we were running last year in terms of run plays, there's going to be a similarity this year. Just based on what we saw and what we're doing this year, I think that Johnson's definitely clearly over P Ryan, despite whatever Connor Hughes or whoever is saying at training camp practice.
I don't know who's saying what. Ben asked if we watched.
I just picked someone at random because everyone said, "Oh, the whole Jets beat is garbage," except Connor Hughes.
Ben asked if we watched LaFleur and Ulbrich press conferences. They're great communicators and give great answers. Yeah, I think in general the coaches are answering questions pretty well. And it's nice to see. Obviously, Sal's a great communicator, so that's positive. I'm just gonna call Keishan. I don't know how to say your name. I'm just gonna say Praj is that's easy to say. Is Ty Johnson or Raheem Mostert? I think he could be similar to that. So let me talk about Bryce Huff. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Tony asked if we think Crowder will be traded. I think it's a possibility by the trade deadline. I could see it happen if everybody steps up and is doing well, and they get a good package for him, or a young player or whatever it may be. Jordan's asking about P. Ryan versus Josh Adams. I think it'll be a close competition. Josh Adams did prove more last year. He looked better, but we'll see if they go with the guy who was better last year or the younger guy who they invested a pick into. But I think if you had right now, Kyle, to say, okay, 2 yards, doesn't matter what the run is, where you have to get 2 yards. Are you taking, Josh Adams or P. Ryan right now? I'm taking Josh Adams, but we'll see. Isaiah Dunn, talk about him. Somebody asked before about preseason and if they plan for the matchups, like if they game plan. Not really. It's all pretty vanilla. They might game plan a little bit, but not much. My understanding is
they do somewhat for the third preseason game, which now is the second preseason.
The dress rehearsal. Yeah. Yeah. Not the first one though. It's all pretty generic. Moving on. Ashton Davis and Vinny Curry being out till week 2, or at least week 2. What are your thoughts quickly on that one?
I wish they weren't, but I don't think
Good one. Okay. And moving on.
I think it's the end of the world, but
yeah, Curry, he doesn't really have to adjust to much. Curry is a vet, so it's not going to affect him very much. Obviously, you'd like to see him be there week 1 because he's a good rusher. Not as worried with him. Ashton Davis, him being out for this time, he's a guy, again, watching him coming out super raw. We knew it was going to take him some time to develop. So him, struggling year 1 was expected. But now him missing, obviously not having his training camp, all that stuff preseason last year, and now not having it again this year is not the best start for a guy who's super raw. So it's a little bit of a concern for Davis, him missing all this time because he needs development. He needs seasoning. Moving on, AVT, did you see the whole thing when he came out? I guess, so it was like the first practice where fans were there when he came out and he's pumping up the fans, but now it's like Michael, I think, no, not Michael Carter.
Elijah did it second day, and then Elijah Carter was the day after that.
Yes, I think it's like just the rookies are going out there to do it. Like all the rookies are going to do it, but
that's cool.
In general, it's cool. And AVT was absurdly pumped, like the most pumped. Elijah Moore, like it was cool him doing it, but he doesn't seem like that type of guy. He seems like the more like cool, quiet, collected.
He was the guy. He was the guy. Like, okay, it's the pep rally. I'm gonna get soup for the pep rally because I just got to do it. Type of thing.
Yeah. But it's like not his natural place.
AVT, it was like genuine. Like, all right, football's here. Let's get
through his helmet. Like he was going at it. Oh, there we go, Verge Tibbs. I know I like you. He said Romar Morris, 2016
couple
UNC.
People said that. Someone else said that too before.
Yeah, Romar Morris. That's what I was talking about. That's the running back, the fast running back. I'm pretty sure that's him.
I don't remember anything about that guy. So
I'm pretty sure.
That tells you how good.
Yeah, you forgot Lawrence Thomas the other day was a fullback for the Jets for a little bit. I don't know what's wrong with you, Kyle.
Once you told me that, I remembered him as a defensive lineman. And he was good on special teams. He would lay some shots on kickoffs, man.
Who is the defensive end who that one game or 2 games he got like 4 or 5 batted passes, and I remember I wanted to re-sign him. He was from the Panthers. He's
I know
from the
who you're talking
Panthers. He
about.
came over to the
He was
Jets.
like a second-round pick who busted out for the Panthers.
Yeah, but he was pretty solid for the Jets, and they didn't
Yeah,
re-sign him.
I'm forgetting his name, but
I
know
it'll
who you're
come
talking
back to me.
about.
Somebody will drop it. We have 110 people in here, so I know somebody will know. But what the hell is that guy's name? I liked him. I can picture his face. I just can't know. I don't know his name.
Someone will say it.
Damn it. Moving on. Wilson. So basically, I think there's been like 4 or 5 practices. First practice, bad. Second practice, really, really good. The last couple practices, up and down, pretty good in the red zone the one day, struggled, holding onto the ball too much, not seeing some stuff, whatever. The good thing that you kind of said before about him being like really dedicated and stuff, a lot of the guys, which is probably the most glowing review I've heard of him, is he doesn't make the same mistake twice. He addresses it and does not do it again. So I think that is massive for his development. So I really, really like that. And people are talking about his, like, somebody asked way before in the chat, I forgot that, Coney Ely. There you go. Thank you, John.
Yep.
Somebody was asking about his expectations. Like, should we lower them or higher them based on what we've heard him having up or down practices? He's a rookie coming from BYU against the Jets, who obviously have a weak secondary, but in general, like, the pass rush is what a lot of quarterbacks struggle with. Like, if you see young quarterbacks, that's what they're going to struggle with the most, I think, is like hearing footsteps, seeing ghosts, like that type of stuff. Like that, the rush can really affect them. We've seen multiple careers ruined by it. And got some news for you. The Jets have a pretty good rush, and they're closing the pocket on him, which is really good practice for him. So yeah, he's going to struggle some days. It's a natural rookie curve. Like, it's not going to.
Not to mention too, all of his offense is also learning a new system too. So like, imagine you had a rookie quarterback come in and it was like an offense and all the players were already learned to it. They could help him learn the offense a little bit quicker too. They can give him some pointers and stuff. So everyone's kind of learning it too. So they're all, kind of learning it together. So that's another thing. One thing that kind of came to my mind is, every time he throws a pick, some beat reporters are saying, "Oh, Zach Wilson threw it to the wrong Davis there. This time, Gerard Davis." And like, honestly, like, do I like seeing, "Oh, Zach Wilson threw a pick"? I'm still not that concerned. And I remember, and this is one of the people who I do respect in the NFL world. I remember Jeremiah a couple of years ago, Daniel Jeremiah. When
he's been a scout, so you could take his opinion a little bit more seriously.
And he played college quarterback too.
Yeah.
At Appalachian State.
There's some quarterbacks who do not have good opinions, that are out there. Let's be honest.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. Okay. But anyway, I think I know who you might be thinking about.
His first name is Daniel.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So what would this be? This would be 2015. It was Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. Both of them were rookies, first and second round draft, or first and second pick overall. And everyone kept bragging, Marcus Mariota hasn't thrown a pick yet in training camp. Like, all the dumbass beat reporters in Tennessee were saying, "Yo, Marcus Mariota hasn't thrown a pick, and it's like day 20 of training camp." Yeah. And meanwhile, like, Jameis was, throwing picks here, there, he's doing Jameis things
before he had his Lasix.
And Jeremiah's like, "Well, listen, I hear what everyone's saying about Mariota and the no picks thing, but honestly, if my quarterback in training camp is not throwing a lot of picks, that tells me that he's being a little too conservative with the ball." And what do we know? And obviously Jameis is not a good starter in the NFL, but who's had the better career in terms of being a passer? It's obviously Jameis. And one of Mariota's knocks is he has like that kind of that Derek Carr syndrome, that Alex Smith syndrome of being way too conservative with the ball and taking the checkdowns and things. So, Wilson throws a pick here or there, is being aggressive, and I like that.
Yeah, you rather and it's common. Like, you would rather see a guy who's too aggressive, you can hone that in, versus a guy who's too conservative. Because if you're too conservative in practice, wait until you go to a game. Like, it's a different world. A couple more topics.
And by the way, one little tidbit because Jeremiah was at Jets practice today. He said what we already knew. Zach Wilson, effortless thrower of the football.
Yeah, we already know. We have a couple more things to talk about for training camp, and then I don't know if people.
I have to assume that was Jeremiah's. I have to assume that was Jeremiah's first time seeing Wilson throw in person with actual teammates while they're wearing pads and helmets and things like that.
Yeah. Oh wait, actually, but yeah, we actually had to put this guy in here too. I didn't put this in here. the fact that Elijah Moore is literally dominating, like he is the best player on the offense right now, like bar none.
Yeah.
Or at least he looks like it based on what everybody's saying, is super impressive. I like personally watching his tape and doing it and whatever. Again, there's a review out there. It's probably 2 hours. Go and watch it. He was great. There's some things I think he has to work on. And some things I didn't see that I wanted to see in terms of like him getting off of press coverage. Didn't see it a ton because he was just afforded a lot of space at Ole Miss and how they run their offense. But in general, really excited about him. And I can say, like, just based on him versus the other first round guys of the past I really watched, like Elijah Moore, like, and Kyle, you watched my stuff, like Elijah Moore versus like Henry Ruggs of last year, much higher on Moore. And I could probably argue that what I watched in Moore this year, I would probably, and again, I'm just being transparent. Maybe I'm wrong in the future, but being really transparent. If I had to take just watching what they were in college and I had to pick one player or the other, I think I liked more than CeeDee Lamb's film last year, me personally. So I'm
but not
really,
Judy though.
Not Judy. No. Judy's route running is ridiculous. Now Moore could be better than Judy, but I'm not just going to lie and say based on what they did at college. I don't want to be a liar. But yeah, I'm really high on him, and he's dominating every freaking highlight you see. He's either roasting a guy, running a really crisp route, or, which is a positive, we can kind of transition to this guy too with Moore. Hall is covering him frequently, and Hall has like Ziploc coverage on this guy, like sealed tight. And that's not a good analogy, whatever, but kind of,
Not bad.
But Hall is actually playing really, really well too. It's not like Hall's getting completely toasted by him. Like he's always right there, and Moore's making like a diving catch of the football with his fingertips. So like they're both performing really, really well. So I've liked what I've seen out of Hall, even though he's getting beat a little bit, and Moore looks like he's going to be a legit threat as a rookie. Now, obviously, it has to come into preseason and to the NFL season, but I cannot see this guy being bad. Like I really think, like every other Jets fan, he's going to be a really good player for the Jets. So it's exciting. And then you can go into Hall after that.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like for the first time in forever, we could say like the Jets could actually have like a really good receiver in this league. Like ever since I've been rooting for the team, like we've never had, like, even when we had Marshall, who was like a true dominant number one in 2015, one of the best receivers in the league that year, no one would question that. He was old, and he was, I think he had 2 years on his contract at that point. I don't think they re-signed him. So you didn't know about but I mean, the Jets, they just drafted this guy. He's locked in here for a long time. I mean, like, we can't ever think of an example where, like, Elijah Moore, he might be like a second round pick in fantasy drafts next year, right? Like, when have the Jets ever had like a skill position guy, like that?
Yeah.
It's been a long time on offense, and we finally, got it. And it shouldn't be so much of a shock to people, people who actually watched his film. Mm-hmm. Like there's a part of me that's like a little, teensy bit surprised that he's just coming into camp and just dominating every day this early as a rookie. Like, that for me is a little surprising, but then my mind goes that place. And then I think back, but yeah, I saw this on his film anyway, so why should I be that surprised?
Yeah. Assassin says he's a big Yankee games. He's bouncing. Okay, I'll see you later. Pablo said Wilson's going to be a bust for sure. Really, that's
not an argument. Not an argument.
That's a really in-depth description of what. And do not give me BYU. Do not give me his schedule. Come with actual football takes. So people are just stupid. Angel, I've never seen him here.
I want to hear.
No, this is more important. This is more important because that's just stupid. It's just trying to ruffle feathers. Some guy who's probably, he has no idea what he's talking about. Angel, for whatever reason, asked, who do you think is more beautiful, Holly Berry or Alicia Keys? I don't know why we got that question. That's the most random thing ever.
Honestly,
Holly Berry? Yes.
I'd have to look at them because, like, recent photos of them, because.
Moving on, Hall and Huff. What do you think about those two guys? Hall again playing. It looks like he's playing pretty well, and Huff because Vinny Curry's out. and Quinn Williams is out too, so they might be rotating some guys more inside and letting him play on the edge. He has been, there's been some highlights of him beating up a little bit on, not beating up a ton, but enough on Morgan Moses. So what are your thoughts about the two second-year players in Hall and Huff?
That's pretty cool. I haven't really seen any reps of Huff. I mean, I have. If people have been posting clips and posting them on Twitter, I haven't seen them.
There's one. I think it's when Zach Wilson gets pressured. He fades backwards. I think that's the play, and then he hits Elijah Moore. I think it was that one. But and again, I want to see it from like a better view. But it looked like a dirty spin move on Moses, like really good spin move.
Okay, I might have seen that one actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I did see a video of him, doing some bag work where he was having to loop around different bags and stuff, and he looked decently fluid in that. I was pleasantly surprised to see him move like that. He could be a contributor as a rusher this year. His ceiling is relatively low, if we're being honest, just based on his size and his overall athletic profile. But if he can, continue to get under guys and if you're telling me that he's developing a spin move, short guy with a spin move, who does that remind you of? And I'm not thinking about Dwight Freeney.
I was about this. Are you talking about Lawson?
No, I'm thinking about Elvis Doomerville.
Oh, okay.
He was sick.
I don't think he's as powerful. I don't think he's as powerful.
I don't think so either. I mean, Doomerville was, was he a 4th round pick? He definitely, I mean, he should have been like a 1st or 2nd rounder just from watching his tape. I'm gonna give my older brother credit. My older brother, when Doomerville was coming in the draft, he's like, yo, this kid is going to be a sick pass rusher in the NFL. And he went in like the 4th round, and my brother ended up being right. But, anyway, so
I don't think Huff's has limit. I would have to go back and watch him a little bit more. And again, it's not because I didn't watch him. My problem, I openly admit it. When you watch a lot of players, you kind of forget about the guy who you watched 1,000 reps ago. But I don't think he's overly limited to because of his athleticism. I think he's a decent athlete. I don't think it's bad, to be honest. So okay. I don't know if I'm necessarily on the same exact page with you on that one.
And I told you this, your only film review in the past couple of years that I haven't watched was Bryce Huff.
Bastard. Why don't you go back and watch it now? Maybe
I really should now that he's being hyped. And I remember why I didn't. I was like, who is this guy? And I was like, there's one I could not watch.
We have a couple of questions. Somebody said, Joe, any concern about our linebackers being too light to hold up versus the run? Also with undersized DEs in rotation. Yeah, there's there will be some plays that the Jets get beat on the run just because you have a lighter guy and Rankins inside. If it's more of a rush look, if you have Curry out there, and if you have Lawson, none of them are great against the run. Like Lawson's decent against the run, Curry's decent against the run, Rankins is okay versus the run, Q is good versus the run, but they're not primarily here to be run stuffers. We're guys maybe Wilkerson or whatever would be better at that, but. So yeah, even the D linemen, their strength is not necessarily the run game. So it's not like I don't think they're gonna be a dominating run stuffing team. And the linebackers, I think you could be not necessarily concerned, but it's something to note down because, Hamsa's 220, Sherwood's lighter, Mosley's lighter now too, but Mosley's really good at taking on blocks in terms of stacking guys and getting out of their way type deal. Davis is not too light though. So I wouldn't really worry about Mosley and Davis. You could be maybe a little bit concerned, I guess, about, the will backer.
I think what you're going to have to worry about with Davis is him just not getting in his run fit and going and hitting the wrong gap sometimes, because you see that from time to time on his film.
But in terms of how the question was asked, in terms of them being able to hold up, in terms of their size, physicality, you don't have to worry about that with Davis. In terms of the actual processing of it, then yeah, maybe. 50 Cal asked, besides Lawson, which D end has the highest upside? What do you think, Kyle?
Upside.
Can we? I'm not gonna take the bailout here. I would say John Franklin Myers, but he's kind of both.
Yeah, I don't think of him mostly as in my mind, he's still more. Yeah, but still more of an interior guy in my mind. And I don't want to say Huff because, like, yeah, I watched all Huff's games or all his snaps as a Jet last year. I didn't watch your film breakdown of him from his college tape.
See what happens
So,
when you don't watch it? You're uninformed. That's exactly perfect example.
yeah. So part of me wants to say him, but the other part of me wants to just go based on what I already know, which is Vinny Curry. But Vinny Curry's old.
No,
so we're talking about
I'm gonna say Huff. Yeah, because like Blair's tight, Curry's old. What the hell is his name?
But hear me out.
Rashid is I don't see him being really high upside either. Like,
this isn't the person's question. So all right, if we're gonna say upside, we'll say Huff. Sure. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna ask me, other than Lawson, which DN would I have to put my money on for having the most pass rush productivity? I'm gonna say Curry.
Oh yeah, for sure. And people are overlooking how effective he is on a snap by snap basis when he's in the game. Like he's an effective rusher, and he's never ever going to see a double team. Like it's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So EE is talking about the Hall of Fame game in 2023. He thinks the Jets will be in it. Maybe.
What does that mean? I think that doesn't mean anything.
I think they'll be a pretty good team in 2023. 2 years from now, I think they'll be legitimate playoff contenders. And I don't know. So moving on, the next topic before we get to the final topic, or one, people talk about Darnold sucking, which, yes, it looked like some of the plays that people were putting up, like him throwing picks. The Panthers and some of their fans are not overly thrilled with him. And one of the picks that they put up was pretty bad, of like him throwing into like double coverage.
It was horrible.
It was not good. So
it was horrible, but can I say that I was 0% surprised when I saw that?
No. And the thing is, like, I don't think it's going to work out. And there's people who, and listen, maybe I'm being sinister, maybe I'm an asshole, or, whatever. But people are like, oh, I want him to do well. We have their second round pick. I want them to be the worst team in the league. Actually, sorry. I want them to be the second worst team in the league. So I want the Seahawks to be the worst team in the league, and the Panthers to be the second worst.
You know what I keep thinking is, so there was a rumor that, I don't know, started emerging, like, what was it, yesterday or something like that, that trade talks were heating up between the Eagles for Deshaun Watson, and then some people came out today and squashed those. Mm-hmm. So, it seems like there's still so much legal crap there that I don't know that he gets dealt this year. But if and when that stuff does clear up, I think the Panthers are going to be the team that trades for him, because I don't think this Darnold experiment is going to work out. And everything I kept hearing was that the owner is going to be super aggressive to get Watson.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not the Dolphins. I just hope it's not the Dolphins.
That's what I was going to say. One, you hope it's not the Dolphins. And two, if anything, you hope it's an NFC team. Like you want to be NFC.
Like if it's the Eagles, I'm happy. If it's the Eagles, I'm happy.
I'm fine with that. I would like to see the Panthers. Like I'm cool with Rule. Like I like those guys over there. So I'd rather see the Panthers than the Eagles, because the Eagles are kind of too close, and I don't necessarily love their fans for the most part. But the next thing, Clark being carted off, that whole thing the other day, obviously it came in as like a neck contusion that it was, but apparently he couldn't move his extremities for a little while, but he's going to make a full recovery. We don't know when. But good to see him healthy. You hope that eventually he takes that right guard spot. I liked where I saw him at a Charlotte. So I think he could compete for that. Maybe not right now, but mid-year I could see him taking it over. I don't know why he's not getting some run at it. It's kind of surprising to me, honestly. But young guy again.
I mean, listen, he's still transitioning. Position. He was a tackle in college, so
hard position to transition into. No preseason, no training camp. It's going to be a difficult transition. So he's almost like, like he didn't have that full year to develop. So it might take him a little while, which is fine. But good to hear that he's healthy. Obviously, if he lost his feeling and got paralyzed, that's sometimes what you get with football. Just look at Ryan Shazier. But it's obviously something that could happen. But
I played against Eric LeGrand in high school.
You don't
know who Eric LeGrand is?
Maybe if you tell me.
He was the Rutgers player who had a really bad injury. He's really active on social media and things like that. And they retired his jersey and like his numbers hanging up. It was on a kickoff. He ended up injuring his spine, and he's restricted in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I'm surprised you just haven't heard the name. A lot of people know who he is. Yeah. He even got like he got to like guest broadcast something or something like that. Like he got like a tryout or something like that. But he was a great player in high school. Really, really, really good player. And just one play could just kind of do someone in. It was sad to see that, so. I'm glad that Cameron Clark didn't have any serious injury like that. So, I know that Robert Saleh and Douglas visited him in the hospital, and then they asked Saleh, when they think he would get back to football. And he's like, we're not there yet, which I think was a good answer because, it's scary. And, what was going through Clark's mind while he's being pulled away on a stretcher, or spinal board, whatever you call it. So, he needs to have some time mentally to, recover from that as well. I'm glad he's okay. And hopefully in due time, he'll be back and knocking guys around.
Yeah. Now the last thing I want to get to, the last thing before we get into whatever topic we're going to do next, the Josh Johnson signing. What are your thoughts? And then I have a video to play.
You have a video to play?
I have a video to play.
Of Josh Johnson?
The topic involving Josh Johnson.
Okay.
Kyle, come on.
Okay. Josh Johnson. Okay, fine. I'm glad they signed him. I'd rather see Josh Johnson out there. If Zach Wilson had a Sam Darnold-esque injury where he missed 3 games like Sam Darnold would every year, I hope that's not the case. I'd much rather have Josh Johnson come in as a starter than Mike White or James Morgan.
Yeah. Well,
and by the way, Morgan's film is like a roller coaster. He would make some insane throws. And I remember back to watching your film review of him, I'm struggling to remember exactly what the throw was, but there's one really sick throw. And you said something along the lines of, are there 10 NFL starters that can make this throw? Right? Like there was some of those insane type of moments in his film, but then there was just some like Darnold-esque, Sanchez-esque moments in his film. So I just don't think he's there yet. I think he's got a long way to go, and I really doubt that he ever will get there. So I'm happy that they signed Josh Johnson, and I'm sure it was probably for pennies anyway.
So I just want to play 2 clips in terms of what we were saying. I hope this shares it, or you can hear the sound.
Veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. They definitely need another linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward, if we're talking about future years and stuff, I want to see them get another quality edge rusher that's not old. What's up?
This is something I want to address with you because I think it's important. Some people automatically assume you talk about backup quarterback, they say that's the Jets coach's job. There's a difference, and I think you could relate in your job maybe to me as well. Would you rather go to another teacher for a question with like some simple stuff over
versus
your
my
principal?
boss?
Or same for me. Would I rather go to another patrolman or my lieutenant? I'd rather go to another patrolman. Like, there's stuff you'll bring up with another patrolman, guys who are more to your level than to your top guy. It's with every job. So a backup quarterback, it means something. It does to me. It's not just, your coaches should do that. Like, that's just a baseline, simple argument. Like, there's guys who you relate with more, who you'll ask like the little stupid questions to, but that you might not ask your coach.
Exactly. At the end of the day.
Now, next clip.
There, that one coming from.
Figures you only played your part.
You don't want to ask a coach a question. Sometimes you want to. I'd rather ask Tevin because he's been in the game. He's been in those shoes, and he's been in that fourth quarter with 3 minutes left, and he knows exactly the emotions, not the situation, but he knows the emotions too. So, Tevin been in 2 Super Bowls. He got a lot of experience.
So Kyle, and I actually watched yours after. You didn't really like you agreed with me, but you didn't really add on to the point. So I don't want to play it forever. So I'm kind of just saying you didn't.
I'm messing with you.
No, I'm just saying you didn't add a lot to the conversation. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well then screw yourself.
But yeah, so that's why I wanted a backup quarterback. Again, people just say, "Oh, it's the coach." Again, what I said in that clip, I was acting like a jerk, but that's kind of what we do when we mock people who just are foolish at times. But yeah, I thought it was an important signing. Now, do I want to see somebody who maybe is a little bit better than him? Even a Brian Hoyer. Or, let's say a Nick Foles, like that's who I would prefer to sign. But just in general, like, yeah, going to guys who've been in that situation before, or like coverages, like going back and like you said, like you might not want to ask the simple questions to a higher up, like, and there's so many complexities in football, where you look at like coverages, like just cover 4, Kyle, like there's multiple different times somebody else can take an out, but there's 4 different cover 4s where somebody will take an out route from the number 2. Like you have a robber cover 4, you have a palms cover, you have the robber where the linebacker jumps to the 1, so the 2, so the safety can jump to the 2. you have a palms where the cornerback would take the out route from the number 2. And then if it's a cover 4 switch, you have the safety who takes the out route from a number 2. So like that's little stuff and that's just one route. And like now think about the thousands and thousands of things that they have to process within just a couple of seconds. So like I want that guy who's next to him, who's seen the live bullets and can tip him off like, hey, that safety's cheating a little bit outside. Look at his eyes. Maybe he's looking towards the sideline, that he's going to take it. Or like, look at the corner. Maybe he's playing with a little bit lack of depth. Like there are so many things that I just want Zach Wilson to be as comfortable as he possibly can. And I think having a guy who has thrown a pass is a really important thing for him. And this is an area where we are going to talk about it later, but like until the point of signing Josh Johnson, who's not the ideal guy, I could say that the Jets completely failed in the quarterback room behind Darnold. I mean, behind Zach Wilson. Like they need a veteran to me. It's not, I don't like going into a season with a young coach in Saleh, a rookie coach, a rookie OC. At this point, I think we can talk about it, but like losing Greg Knapp is huge or a huge loss, both, to his family and all that stuff, but also on the football side of things. Like that was the most experienced guy in the room with Wilson as a pass game specialist. So like he has a bunch of youth around him from not only the coaching staff, but now also the quarterback room. And they didn't surround him with a veteran. So I thought that Douglas failed at that. So I think bringing in Josh Johnson is bigger than people think it is. It's not necessarily the name that I want, but yeah,
he could have done better in that regard for sure. But at least he finally did something. Not waited till the season started and potentially an injury.
I don't think he's going to end up being the guy. Like I think for now he's like a body, but I think once a Foles is cut, I think that's a move. You spend an extra couple $1 million to have a Foles there, a Brian Hoyer there. But again, I think people think it's so simplistic where, oh yeah, your quarterback coach does that. Your quarterback coach, LaFleur has never been taking live bullets. He's like 32 years old. You want a guy with experience who's been there. So I'm happy with the signing. I definitely am.
So I'm going to bring up an old expression that people say all the time, and it's cliche and it's corny, but it's true, right? Like there's no such thing as a dumb question, right? So ask as many questions as you can. And like, you'll tell that to like students, like, hey, listen, and even sometimes like a student might ask a dumb question, like who was the first president in United States history? Like, it's like, like you should know that. Like, and like, you'll even try to say, no, it's a good question. It's a good question. Like, cause some kids will make fun of them. Kids sometimes like won't want to ask questions like that to a teacher sometimes. Cause sometimes like, they don't want to like get made fun of in front of their peers or in front of other people or something like that. So sometimes like, people also feel more comfortable going to their peers. I'm even trying like I'm thinking about it from my job perspective, like who would I rather go to, but even thinking about it from like a student's perspective. And you can think of Zach Wilson as a student. He's a student of football. He's learning the game of football from his coaches. There would be some questions that he'd just be more comfortable with asking, so.
Yeah. Going back to the chat too, we had a couple people just throwing some random stuff. Verge said he noticed that Carter said he'd rather go to another player, which is exactly what I was talking about a couple weeks ago. Jeremy said 100% he calls his fellow assistant principal for a nice advice, not his principal. So it makes a difference. It really does. What's up, sir? He said, my guys. I'm assuming he's talking about us or maybe the people in the chat. Hi dear says JFM lost a few libs, 10 or 12. I don't know where that's necessarily coming from. I just don't necessarily know. In order to play DN, and he can move inside too fast on passing downs. If we can get 5 to 7 sacks from him this year, that would be awesome. I think he can get more. I think he can get 7 to 8 sacks, to be honest. I think he's a guy who could play DN and play outside. But obviously they have a lot of guys, so they'll rotate a lot. But JFM is a good player who is versatile. I really, really like him. He's going into like his like true like third year. It's his 4th year. He got injured the 1 year though. In the Rams year, he didn't play a ton. But overall, I like him rushing better from the inside. But I think he can play a little bit of DN too. If you want, Q and Rankins inside, okay, play JFM as a 5 tech. But if you want, obviously a Curry or a Blair, whoever else on the outside, you kick him into 3 and you give Q or Sheldon Rankins a rest and it's go time. So I'm high on JFM. I like him a lot, and you'll see that reflected in my top 25 when we do that in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably going to be, based on the discussions we had, I assume you're going to be a little bit higher on him than me, but I like him too as well. Sometimes we get too caught up on like, 5 to 7 sacks, how many sacks he'll have. I mean, it's, how the film, how disruptive is he? Like, some of these sacks could be cleanup sacks where, Q's moving a guy off a spot or Lawson's moving a guy off a spot. And then
Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, JFM's just there to clean him up. So, he, in theory, Carl, JFM might have more sacks than Carl Lawson this year. Like,
no,
I doubt it. I doubt it. I'm just saying, like it's possible, right? It's possible. Now, I'm not saying, but what I am saying, and this is what I mean is, there's no way that we would think that he'd be a more effective rusher, than Lawson, right?
No.
Exactly. So I'm saying, so sometimes we just get caught up to I almost never really think he's going to get this many sacks this year. Like, I know we did a stat prediction thing last week. So JFM's he's a solid player for sure.
So the one thing I'll ask the chat before we do it, because we're not into the meat and potatoes yet. So there's still 100 and some people in here. So I want to ask, if you have a preference, we're going to do the meat and the potatoes is doing the drafting the Jets roster versus each other. We're basically, again, we're going to start off with Zach Wilson. We're both going to draft players. You take them, I don't know what the hell that was. You take them off of the board when you draft them, and then we're going to see who has a better Jets roster. So that'll be a good discussion, or we could compare the Jets versus the AFC East and see.
Yeah, Joe's been doing some mock drafts already. Like he's, when you do mock fantasy draft. Yeah,
we're mocking our team. We're not doing it for fantasy.
I know, but you've been practicing this already.
Oh, whatever.
I know I'm gonna go on the live stream and get a way better team than Kyle.
Ben asked, when do you guys do the 53-man roster prediction? We will do that next show plus the preseason. We'll talk about the preseason game, but I'll also do my 2-hour show breaking down the plays and all that stuff. Got a super chat from Nose Kills, who I've never seen before, but I appreciate it. How many percentage of the L's next season do you predict will be caused by the inexperience of head coach, coordinators, learning to work together, and related hiccups? What do you think, Kyle? That's a good question.
It's a very good question. Percentage, I would still think it's going to be relatively low. I don't think it's going to be a very high percentage. I think
it might cost them a game.
I think that most of the Jets' losses next year will be because they're just not as talented as some of the other teams, and they're more, and even the players are inexperienced, like a rookie quarterback. I think that there's a much bigger transition for a rookie quarterback than for a rookie head coach, and I think that you very much agree with me, right, Blewett?
Yeah. I think it might cost him a game. Maybe at one time he forgets he has a timeout, or he calls one too early, something like that. But they're not coaches who have Salah's been around a lot of good coaches. He's really built up from the ground floor. And LaFleur is young, but I don't know what power he's going to have on the sideline. So it might cost him a game, but I don't think it's going to be brutal. But yeah, there will be some hiccups for sure. There'll be a time when we get frustrated with a timeout, or a time we thought he should have went for it, or whatever. But I don't think at the same time that he's going to be, kicking field goals when we're down 2 touchdowns with 5 minutes left, or something like that, like some of our past coaches did, which I don't understand how you even.
There's somewhat of an advantage too for a rookie head coach, in the sense that the rest of the league is not prepared for exactly what they're going to do with their team. Because when you're a head coach, you get to do whatever you want. You have the final say over all coaching decisions. So take McVay, for example. I think his first year was 2017. He kind of took the league by storm. A lot of people were thinking what, they're hiring this really young kid. This seems to be a mistake. And his offense kind of took the league by storm and surprised a lot of people. So it kind of took, and I'm not saying that the league is even really good at stopping them now, but it's especially in, 2018 was their best offensive season. It took the league a little while to kind of think of, to game plan ways up to stop them and stuff. So there is, in a way, somewhat of a slight advantage in that sense when you're a rookie head coach, that the rest of the league still has to kind of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked me a question, I think. Was it about John Franklin Myers?
Yeah, I think it's just more of a comment. Moving a young quarterback coach caliber to passing coordinator. Yeah, listen, you can't replace Greg Knapp, but would I like to see another experienced coach brought in here who's familiar with the system? I would. I don't. necessarily want to spread out the workload that he had, because it puts more stress on guys, and they might not be able to spend that extra 10 minutes with Zach Wilson or whatever it may be. People talk about the kicker and the new kicker we brought in. They got rid of Ficken. It seems like Nugar is leading the battle just based on the percentages I see out there. I think what they should do is what Ben said, and I think Ryan Suckup and Jose Borregales are both kicking really well with the Bucks. They're not going to keep both. Whichever one they cut, we're second on the waiver list, so we basically have our choice if we want to sign them. If they're on waivers, and I think we pick up one of those guys and then any little battle, because it's another position I think that Joe Douglas, we like a lot of what he's done, but so far backup quarterback, even though I like Josh Johnson, it's a little bit less of a fail, but I still think that's been a failed position this year. And what he's done at kicker the last 2 years has been a failure too. He's brought in no competition and guys who nobody knows, who don't have experience. Like Ficken was garbage. Vedvik was garbage, even though I get why he brought him in. There's been some really bad hater or I don't know how to Ali.
Ali, like Muhammad
Ali. I don't know why I couldn't. He says I'm a bit behind on the stream. Gentlemen, I had to take a call trying to play catch up. How do you catch up? I guess you can play it in like 2 times speed or something like that, right? He also said, I absolutely love the direction our organization is heading in, from GN front office to staff, the draft team to young player. Yeah, we all like where they're going. So Kyle, let's answer this question first before we get to that next one, because this is the only other thing I had on it. The top 100 players of 2022 that comes out for NFL Network. And I watch it. I don't agree with the rankings, but I basically watch it to see like all the behind the scenes FX type, like sound effects, like they're on the field and you hear the rush. I like that stuff, so I watch it. Yeah. How many players do you think are on that list from the Jets this year? You had to say. What do you think?
That's a good question. I'll
give you my 3. I think there's 3.
You think there's 3?
Lawson, I think, is on the list.
Okay.
Q, I think, is on the list. And then and if I had to bet, maybe it's 2, but I could see Becton being on the list too, just in terms of like how physically like dominant he is, and the impression he might have left on some guys who played him. So I would say those 3 are going to be on it. But if I had to put my house on it, I'm probably going to say Lawson and Q are on it. And then that same question to next year, like who do you think could be added to it? I think we might see Mosley get back on, and I think you might see Elijah Moore make an appearance on that list.
Yeah. You don't think Mayo? I don't think Mayo will make it either. And
no,
if I don't think May is going to make it, you definitely don't think May.
No, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it.
Yeah. I had the same exact thoughts with you about Becton, although I'm not sure that he will be on there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wonders if Lawson will be on there. And I know
voted on by the players, though, right?
I know. Yeah. So here's the thing. So the fans around the league sleep on Lawson a bit because, he's 5.5 sacks. Fans. But it's way different when you're a tackle and you're trying to block this guy who's just an absolute monster, or you're a quarterback and you're like, whoa, how did that guy get in there that quick? So I would think that the players would be higher on him for that reason, I would think.
Yeah.
But I won't be shocked if he doesn't make it either, just because he's still think about what Ulbrich said, like he still hasn't gotten that national recognition yet. And listen, he was coming from a shitty team in the Bengals to a shitty team in the Jets. And that also matters too, like what team you're on. So I won't be surprised if he doesn't make it. I do think Q will slip in there. I don't think he'll be ranked very high, but I think he'll be in there.
Slip in there. All right. So somebody, you embarrassed me. What's up? I saw you last time. We're very complimentary of the show. JD was playing the long game all along. The lack of kicker was purposeful. Listen, I said like as a conspiracy theory, I think that could be maybe it's true. But now this year they should be going for it a little bit. They need a kicker. Sam Ficken's not the answer. And I don't know if Nugar is the answer. Like I would like to see them spend a little bit of money and get a kicker. Decides games again. Buffalo week 1, 2019, we win that game if we don't have a terrible kicker. Like he missed 2 field goals and like an extra point or whatever it was. Like he cost us like 6-7 points.
He was really bad.
Kyle, we kind of got like even answers in terms of the draft the roster of the AFC. So I'm just going to throw up to you. What do you want to do? Compare the teams, or do you want to draft the roster?
Let's do the draft right now.
Let's do the draft.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is gonna be fun. I do. Because it's kind of interesting to see, like, because it's not just okay. This is not our top 25 because you have to build a team and you have to be strategic on kind of forcing the other person into a corner with some of your picks. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Really quick, we have another question from 50 Cal. What is your predicted stat line for Carl Lawson? I think we both said that he's gonna have like 11 or 12 sacks, or somewhere from like 10 to 12.
I think I said 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably finishes like 11 and a half. You just brought out a piece of paper. Did you write something? You wrote something down.
I got a piece of paper so I could write down the players I'm picking.
Oh, okay.
I know you were gonna write it down, but this way I don't forget.
Okay, I saw it. I was like, did you make a big board?
No.
Okay, so Kyle, So what we're gonna do is it's gonna be like a snake. So I think who gets the first pick should get. So I'll give you the first pick, and then I get second and third, and then we go back and forth. That's usually how a snake draft works, I guess, just because you can't have first and third. I think it's even if you get first and fourth, and we just go back and forth from that point. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, guys, I didn't prep for this.
I didn't.
You
prep
did.
For this. Not really. Not like you did. Not like you did the freaking last time about surviving on an island. You're looking up guys' freaking degrees,
dude.
Like I didn't do that.
Yeah, you're picking guys that can fight bears. Genius.
I think it's necessary.
You don't fight bears.
Here, let me do my. I gotta get like a little tab up to do this. Okay, again. So the stipulation of this is we both start with Wilson because whoever has James Morgan or Josh Johnson as a quarterback is probably going to lose the game. And I don't know if we should necessarily do like the teams versus each other or just who has a better team in general. It's probably what it, regardless. So 50 Cal says ask questions that we haven't already answered before. I'm quite new to the channel. Stick around. Hopefully you like a lot of the film stuff that comes out. Go back and anybody who you're curious about who the Jets have signed or drafted so far, I've done and probably an hour to a 3-hour review on them, if not a 6-hour review like on Zach Wilson. So and slow guys to get eaten by bears. Okay, so Kyle, we both start off with Zach Wilson as our quarterback. Your first pick of the draft to build a team. Who is coming off the board?
Mekhi Becton.
Mekhi Becton.
That was going to be your first pick. You know it.
No, that puts me in a that's not a good spot to be in though. Becton. God damn it. I really wanted him. He's even my third pick, but that is tough. I'm going to go with Q, and I'm going to go with Lawson. Q and Lawson. Now you go, and we go back and forth. That is tough though. That was a good pick.
Okay.
What's up, drums? Good.
This is a lot of pressure. All right. Vera Tucker.
Yeah, damn it. Okay. All right. Vera Tucker. Hold on, let me write that down. I don't want to get put in a really tough spot right here. You're taking offensive lineman. I gotta go with. I guess I gotta go with Moses, which is a tough. It's not good, but to pick this high. But I gotta go with Moses. Are you thinking of something? What are you doing?
Oh, isn't it don't you get the next pick?
No, not back to back. It was just after that first pick. So now we just go back to back.
All right, Elijah Moore.
Okay. I'm more comfortable with that pick because I'm not going to give you my reasoning. My next pick now is going to be CJ Mosley.
Okay. All right, that was a good one.
It's because there's quite a thin linebacker group, so you can get kind of screwed.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Mike? No, Kyle wouldn't pick two guys because now it's back and forth just because he got the first pick. I got second and third, and now we're going back and forth. The first pick gets, that's it wouldn't work out if we went back and forth 2-1, 2-1. Like, I don't know how that would work.
Okay. Let me just, I want to make sure I got all your people down. You took Q, you took Lawson, you took Mosley, right?
Q, Lawson, Mosley, Moses.
And Moses.
Yeah, Moses.
So you have 4 people and I have 3 right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, I need a defensive player. But I'm not really too concerned about taking one right now. You took Lawson, you took Q. All right, I'm gonna take Corey Davis.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were gonna say something different. I am going to take McGovern.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I should have taken him. I should have taken him just to. You'd have no offensive line.
That's what I'm saying. I needed some offensive line. That's why you went back to back. I was slightly concerned. So you have Moore and Davis as your receivers, right? Becton, ABT, and are those your 4 guys, right? You only have 4 right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I have Moses, my center, McGovern. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna take Marcus May.
Okay, now he was high on my board too. I'm going to take George Fant as my left tackle because you are fuck that tackle, buddy. You got the 2 better guys, but you are going to struggle now.
I didn't think you were going to take Fant,
dude. I had Mosley and the tackles high because now look at the linebackers and now you got to roll with Chuma Adoga. Or somebody really bad at tackle, and Feeney's going to be your center. Like I don't.
And dude, so, Chuma versus Fant is a big drop.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I took him so high because
McDermott. Yeah.
Like there are better players than Fant, obviously still on the board.
But you're talking shit. Like who's your guard going to be?
Ben exactly. Yeah, but yeah, obviously you have ABT, but now all the guards are kind of like evenish. But Ben said Fant just to screw Joe over with no O lineman. Oh no,
I was
that's the opposite. I was behind.
I was gonna take Fant. Like I just wanted to get some. I wanted to get some heavy hitters for. I got Moore and Corey Davis.
Yeah. No. True. Okay.
So,
who is your next pick?
All right. Hold on. So you took Fant. All right.
Q. This is kind of fun. That's the idea. Like we gotta think of kind of outside the box.
So your team's Q, Lawson, Mosley, Moses, Fant. Did you take one other, or is that it?
Wilson, Fant, McGovern, Moses, Lawson, Q, Mosley.
I'm missing McGovern.
McGovern.
All right.
And I don't know if you're doing like a 4-2-5. I don't know if you're doing a 4-3. I don't know if you're doing 11 personnel. I know what I'm doing. Well, it might depend, but
yeah, I'm not thinking about that too much right now. Okay. All right, I'm gonna take Gerard Davis.
Yeah, okay. That was kind of necessary.
Yeah.
Is he gonna play? I guess your Mike. That's fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Davis.
I don't want to put. Yeah, I want to put Blake Cashman out there, dude.
Yeah. Man. Okay, so you got Davis. Okay, I am going to go with Bryce Hall.
Okay.
Your corners. At least I got somebody who can kind of cover a one. Oh, you just took Davis too. Oh yeah, okay.
So I know you're going to go receiver soon. So you took Bryce Hall.
At this point, you kind of already. I don't know. We'll see about receiver.
Yeah, I might leave you with nobody. Maybe I'll take more receivers.
What are you going to run? You're going to run 10 personnel? Sure.
Yeah, with Chuma Adoga pass protection. Ugh.
Yeah. Yep. Feeney playing center. I'm gonna have weak guards, but other than that, it's decent. Like I think like a decent. Like if you had Fant and Moses, like that's not the worst tackles in the world with McGovern. You know, it's decent.
Okay. All I got May on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
We're not too bad back there. Let's see offense. There's no way I'm going to take a corner right now.
Yeah, it's we're getting into kind of tough a tough territory right here, where it's kind of like the middle of the roster, but still some important positions to fill, obviously.
I need to take defensive lineman.
Yes, you do.
All right, I'll take JFM.
And what is he playing? End or?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know who my other guys are going to be yet.
I'm gonna put him at right end for you right now. That's what I have listed. So JFM is off the board. Who is my next highest ranked guy? I am going to take.
When this is done, you should if you have this typed out, you should put it on the screen. Share it so we can all see, if that's possible.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what else is in my notes. Yeah, I can put it.
You can just copy and paste it and like put it in like a new document or something.
I got some police stuff in my phone. I don't know if I want to see it, show people my notes section.
Oh no, you shouldn't.
I'll do a Google Drive. Okay, so my next that I'm going to do is, do I really want that though? This is getting. I don't want to do this, but I am. I gotta take LaMarcus Joyner to play free safety. Don't like that pick, but I don't want to get stuck with nobody back there.
Yeah, that was the JFM pick for me.
Yeah, that's control. That's damage control right there.
Yeah. Okay. So you took Joyner. All right, well, I'm not in a rush to take any corners because they're pretty much a wash almost. Not exactly, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At this point, it's kind of,
All right, I'm gonna take Fadukasi.
Good pick. Okay, that's who I was gonna pick too. I'll take Rankins right back. It's a little bit of a light line for me, but it's okay.
All right. I keep thinking to take a receiver to screw you over, but that wouldn't even really work because, like, if I take Crowder, you'll have Cole, and it's like,
yeah, that's why I'm kind of
And like if I took Mims, it's like,
don't think out loud, Kyle. We're competing right here.
maybe it's just all part of the strategy to throw you off.
Maybe bluff. Poker face. All right.
My defense isn't that horrible.
Oh, I know my next two picks.
You know your next two picks.
I know my next two picks.
You did take Rankins, right?
Just took Rankins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to take him anyway. There's no linebackers I want to take. There's no corners I want to take. I am thinking out loud. Forget, whatever.
Yeah. I was firing decisions off. You're a hard thinker.
If I take this person, it's going to screw you. I'm taking Mims.
Bastard. All right. Yeah, that sucks. This is going to screw you back. Kind of, because this player is not great, but just in terms of screwing you back, I'm taking Ashton Davis as my other safety.
Good luck.
Okay. I'm more happy with him than I am with Sherrod Niesman or JT Hassel. That's for sure.
Niesman wasn't horrible. His film review. It wasn't horrible. I mean, there's still a lot of projection with Davis, man.
Yeah,
really
but there's I think in terms of like I think the chat's gonna be more happy with Davis in terms of Niesman. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true. If you can get on the field. All right, so you took Ashton. My last pick was Mims.
Yes.
Okay.
I know my next pick. You can take him.
All right. I'm gonna take Feeney.
Okay, that's that. Thank you. This is because I like this player a lot more than the other player, but I'm gonna take Hamza as my will.
Okay.
I don't want to get stuck with Sherwood or Cashman.
That's solid when you think about the alternatives.
That's why I drafted Davis and Joyner quickly.
Okay. Do you have a Jets roster open on your screen? Because I don't.
I do not. I know. Well, I know who's left based on the list.
Okay.
You don't know who Lawrence Thomas is. You can't just go off the top of your head drafting back and forth. I'm just.
No, it's not that. It's just like, I want to know if there's like some other like, because some of these guys are like they're really like I want to see like if I forget about someone, am I going to end up with some guy who like I don't even know who they are, like some of these like no name guys like who are really at the bottom of the barrel. Like I just hope I don't put myself in some situation like that.
Somebody, Sir said Cashman is going to get injured before this draft is over. Don't pick him. And then some people are saying we're looking at the chat. I'm actually not looking at the chat. I just
I'll be honest. I don't want to
get influenced.
I looked at the chat and I saw Fadu Kasi and I was like, all right, that's solid.
I don't want to get influenced by the chat. I love you guys, but I'm not doing it right now.
But it's not like I still had to think about it, and I was like, yeah, I need to start building the defensive line. So that's kind of why I took him. But that was the only kind where the chat even somewhat influenced me.
By the way, if I see another people doing this now, I know exactly where they got it from because I've never seen anybody ever do this. But I think this is a new thing we're gonna do. I like it.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty fun. So Ashton's still the last pick. It's my pick now.
No, Hamza's my last pick.
Oh, Hamza. All right, I'm gonna take Van Roten.
Right guard. Where Van Roten? Okay, that was gonna be my next pick, but now it's kind of like there's just a. I am going to take Michael Carter, the running back.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take Tyler Kroft.
I don't like that. I don't like that one. I wanted him. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to get stuck with frickin' – now I know Eagle's going to hate me because Hoof is back. He said, hey, Ronnie, what's up?
Hey,
Hoof,
what's going on, Hoof?
You're late. Yeah, good pick with Van Roten. I like that pick.
Hey, Franz, I took Feeney over Van Roten because Feeney can also play center.
Yeah, I'm going to take Alex Lewis. I don't like it, but I gotta offensive line's important.
Yeah, have fun with that. That'd be good for a couple penalties a game.
Okay. Continue.
All right. So you just took Alex Lewis. I don't even know why you did that. It's not like I was going to take that bum. Could have saved him.
I'm not giving away my moves. Just keep thinking out loud.
All right. Running back. All right. I'm going to take Ty Johnson.
All right. And now, because you just made the Lewis comment, I'm going to take Cam Clark to be my right guard. And now you could play Tristan Hoge or whoever you want at the other guard spot.
I got Vera Tucker.
Oh, damn it. Can I take a pick back?
No.
Oh, dude, I took him for no reason then.
Look, listen. Does the chat? All right, I'll be merciful if the chat's merciful.
I didn't know you had him. That's the only. I only did that to screw you over.
Do you think Cocky Joe should be able to take his pick back?
I didn't know.
All right, fine. You can.
I was trying to screw you with the guard. That's why I was trying
You're
to.
writing
back
this
you into a corner.
down. You're writing it down.
I know. Okay.
Was my second pick.
I appreciate your courtesy, Kyle. I am going to take I'm going to take Keelan Cole.
You're taking Keelan Cole. All right.
Everybody's saying no mercy. You guys are sons of bitches.
I'm taking Crowder. You ain't getting both of them.
You're going 10 personnel, huh?
Dude, I'm gonna throw, especially your shitty corners. I mean, we both got shitty corner. I could dominate your corners, man.
Hold on. Can you take? No, you can't even take Cole. I mean, you can't take Crowder. You already have a tight end, unless you're not having a running back on the field. How many? You got 12 positions on offense, my guy.
What are we doing? Backups too?
No, we're just doing 22s, 22 starters.
All right. So then I guess I'll take that off.
Okay, there you go. See,
I'm getting too focused on screwing you over because I'm thinking about, all right, Joe's gonna have to be throwing to Lawrence Cager and stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to put you in that position.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You went offense heavy first, and I went defense heavy.
Yeah. Give me one moment. I got to pull up the Jets roster because there's gonna be someone I'm forgetting about, and then I'm gonna be like, shit, why did I forget about that person?
Pull it up. Jeremy's. I appreciate the. He said, honestly, we need you wearing blue, Joe. I don't know what that has to do with it. But I truly believe you would be a great addition to an NFL organization as a personnel guy. Hey, I think he's gonna like my roster better than yours, Kyle. Thank you, Jeremy. Corey Davis at tight end. I guess, technically, if you wanted to put, whoever.
I got Tyler Kroft too, man. We're going to be throwing the ball over the yard.
I don't know who's protecting I don't know who's protecting Lawson and Q, with whoever your tackle's going to be.
My tackle?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got one bad. Well, I got a couple bad.
You got one really bad offensive lineman, two really bad ones. I
think your O-line is worse overall. Come on.
We'll see. I don't know. I'd rather be bad at guard than tackle.
I'm surprised you haven't taken Bless Austin yet.
Oh.
All right.
I appreciate that, Jeremy. I guess. That's my job, but thank you.
Okay.
Continue.
I'm gonna take.
Hey, Stefan, I didn't get it because I'm trying to draft the team and beat Kyle right now.
I'm taking Vinny Curry.
Okay, that's cool. That's, I think, a decent pick at this point. Decent, not great. I think the next guy I have to take, because I don't really need a receiver. You're done with offense, so I don't really have to hit the offense at this point. I'm going to take. Oh man. Pinnock.
Okay. Again, a boundary guy, Ben. I understand it. I understand it.
Yeah.
That screws me. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's only one other guy I would take, but I don't know. We can discuss once you take him, maybe.
Okay.
Steven, you eyeballing me, son? You said the same thing last time. I do not say that to people. That's funny.
Okay. So I got some interior guys on defense.
I'm not picking Bless Lawson ever. Someone in chat.
I really hate Cashman. I do not want to take him. And I really hate Sherwood. So I really don't want to take him either. But I guess I'm just going to have to eventually get stuck with one of those bums. All right. I'm going to take Isaiah Dunn.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Okay. So I am going to take I only have two defensive positions left. Okay, I guess I'm going to take my preference of slot corner at this point. I'll take Carter the second.
Yes.
You like Idri? That's fine. It is what it is. That's a hard position to pick, but I do like Carter.
Okay, cool. So you took Carter the second.
Mm-hmm. You still okay? Yeah. Okay.
I need another corner for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
At this point, it doesn't really matter because we both are not picking from the same player pool.
yeah.
Like we don't have to think about pinning each other now at this point because I pretty much go all offense.
All right, so I'll take Eccles.
Outside or inside? Outside.
I,
Hold on.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I'm not going to play Guidry outside. I don't want to take Bless Austin.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything. Never mind. Oh, you have Dunn already. I was like, wow, you're picking Eccles over Dunn. I'm surprised. Just based on your thoughts on those guys.
No, I took Dunn.
KD said, I just joined, but I hope Kyle picked that overrated D tackle that does nothing special named Quentin Williams. Go ahead.
Come on,
I'll read the rosters. I'll read the rosters at the end. We're almost done, and then we'll get into the AFC East comparisons. Some people didn't like this topic. Some people dropped, but I liked it. Continue.
Well, my last pick was Eccles. Did you pick anyone after that?
Oh, you picked Eccles. Okay. I am going to. I guess I'll take my other defensive lineman at this point. It doesn't really matter. I'll take Blair. I kind of want to take Huff, but I think Blair is more consistent. It's proven more. But I would
have taken him over him too.
Yeah, I like Blair. So that's not like the sexy pick. People in the chat are probably gonna say Huff, but Blair is more proven, and you'll see him in the run stuffing game. Like you need somebody who can stuff the run. And I already kind of have a lighter defensive line with Rankins and Q in the middle, so I need somebody who could stuff the run a little bit. So I don't want to go Huff, who is not that player yet. So I took Blair.
Okay.
We only got 3 picks. I only got 3 picks left. You have 4.
Okay.
Right?
So yeah. So
1, 2, 3, 4.
all right,
5. You have 5 picks left, and I have 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take I'll take Bryce Huff.
Okay. Huff. You already had Curry and JFM. Where is he playing? You need a D tackle.
All right. Well,
it doesn't matter now.
I'm not writing down positions. That's the thing. I'm worried about depth.
You need a D tackle. You need a safety. You need a corner. You need a right tackle.
I'm gonna take veto the Huff pick. I know I'm gonna take Shepard, not Jonathan Marshall.
Shepard. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna do.
I almost said him too, but then I was thinking
you have Mims, Davis, Moore. I'm gonna take Crowder. Slot. Go ahead. Only a couple picks left.
And you have Cole too, right?
Cole, Crowder.
Okay.
Not great, but better than Hogan and Andre Roberts, and All
right. I'm gonna take Guidry.
Guidry is your slot. Okay. I am going to. I don't want to pick this guy at all. He's gonna be my last pick. I'll go Barrios, I guess.
Oof.
Yeah. Well, unless actually. Veto. I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm just gonna go with Cam Clark. I'll think about it for a second.
You already took Cam Clark.
No, we pulled it back.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do it. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna
see you later, Verge.
I'm taking Cashman. I'll take him over
Steven
Sherwood. I don't care what the hype. There's some hype about Sherwood in camp. I'm not buying it.
Steven says I can see us keeping 10 D linemen and only keeping 6 linebackers. We're gonna be a little bit different. That's pretty close to what I have, but I have something a little bit different than that. So I guess it might surprise you. My room's gonna get a little dark. The light's not working, by the way. So whatever. I am going to go. I only have 2 picks left. So now the question is, do I rather have? Well, I'll just take this guy first, and then I'll ask the question after. I am going to go. Oh, this is the side. I gotta go. I have to take Herndon.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I got it. I got to take him. I have 1 pick left. You got 2. You need a strong safety and a right tackle.
I was thinking about one of my problems with this is I was thinking about depth too much. I could have waited to take what's his face, the running back I took, Johnson. What was the last thing you said?
You have a strong safety and a right tackle. That's all you need. So giddy up. I'm not saying these guys are better. Like at this point, guys, like we're pretty much just.
What if I don't want to play with a
matter.
safety? Like I got one safety. What if I want to go? I want to go one high with May. I don't want to take another safety.
So you're gonna have 4 corners?
Well, I got 3.
Yeah. Or you want another linebacker? Sherwood? You're gonna play a.
Yeah, I mean,
play a set with 3 corners, 1 safety, and 3 linebackers. What set is that?
Oh my God! You took Joyner, you took Davis. You know what? I'm gonna take Niesman.
Okay, Niesman. So the only decision I have left to make is for my last.
That might even be better than what you got with Davis. Seriously, for this year,
I don't think so. But now the only decision I have to make is: do I go 12 personnel or do I go 11 personnel? Or no? Do I go with 2 tight ends or do I go with 3 receivers? That's my decision right now. Do I rather have
receivers are better than tight ends? So you want to take a receiver,
but Wesco like as a fullback tight end hybrid, you know?
Yeah,
type deal and kind of run it a little bit, you know?
But your line's not built to run.
Yeah, but the receivers aren't great though either. I don't know. I think I'll go Barrios. I'll go 11. Kind of small, Cole, Crowder, Barrios, but again, I've seen worse days.
Okay.
NY Jets tail says Eccles. Kyle already has Eccles. So who's your right tackle? You're taking the.
Oh yeah, I got to take
the Doga.
Let me just give me a moment. I just want to. Yeah.
What do you have to think about? Give you a moment. There's one guy or the other.
Fuck. I'm gonna take McDermott. Fuck Adoga.
Okay.
Low effort guy.
Okay, hold on. Now I'm gonna put the teams up, and then I just want somebody or people to say who has a better team. I think it's me, but it's okay.
Yeah, let's let them decide because we're both have our bias.
Why can I not? Oh, I'm on Google Drive. I have to go to Google Docs, dumbass.
Yeah,
Google Docs. I'm the Google Drive. I'm like, I'm hitting new, and it was like asking me to upload a file. I'm like, what is this doing? Okay. Google Docs, copy, paste. Your right tackle. You said it was you're doing McDermott?
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta change. I thought you were gonna go with Doga. McDermott. At least like he had something coming out of college. Like he had some good feet and stuff. I don't know. Okay.
But this is how much I dislike Adoga.
So Kyle's team
I'm not even saying it's a more rational pick. It's just
we gotta know who the better team is. Okay. So Kyle's team is obviously you can read it. Zach Wilson at quarterback, Ty Johnson at running back, Tyler Croft. Receivers are Moore, Davis, Mims, left tackle Becton, left guard AVT, center Feeney, right guard GVR, McDermott, and then your DNs are Curry and JFM. Your interior is Fadukasi and Shepard. Your linebackers are Cashman and Davis, which is pretty rough. Oops.
yes.
And then your safeties are May and Niesman. Cornerbacks Dunn, Eccles, Guidry. My team is you went offense heavy. I went defense heavy. That's kind of just how it worked out. I went with obviously Wilson, Michael Carter the first. Tight end is Herndon. Don't love that. Receivers Cole, Crowder, Barrios. Tackles are Fant and Moses. Interior Lewis, Clark, McGovern at center. Our offensive lines are both we both have massive weaknesses. Like McDermott at tackle is really bad with Feeney as your center is really bad. But I obviously have Lewis and Clark. But Moses, McGovern, Fant. I think my offensive line might be better than yours. I don't know. That's kind of.
I definitely have big holes for sure.
Because how much really better is GVR than Lewis? Like there is a gap, but is it like large enough where I'm talking about like Moses versus
there's a big gap between like Fant and McDermott. There's a huge gap.
Like Fant and McDermott and then McGovern versus Feeney versus you have me badly on AVT versus Lewis and GVR versus Clark, but it's not like as drastic. I don't think. But and then moving on from that, my DNs are Blair and Lawson. Nose tackle is, I guess, Rankins. Q is my D tackle, and I have Hamza, Mosley at linebacker with Joyner Davis as safety, and then Hall, Pinnock, and Carter the second as my corners. Who has the better team? KD says that Kyle, the defense is going to get smacked every game. Yeah, your defense is rough. Like, I think you can get by with Cole, Crowder, Barrios as your receivers. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. Carter's decent. Herndon sucks.
I got the best
offensive line is
hold on. I got the best defensive player out of everyone.
What?
I'm just saying.
Who are you talking?
I'm saying to piss you off.
I got Lawson.
Marcus May, man, stop hating.
I got Lawson and Q and Rankins. My defensive line is going to poop on your offensive line like really, really badly. Kyle has a better offense. I think that's obvious. But Kyle, whose team would you take if you're being?
Hey, it's an offensive game nowadays, man.
Sure, but if you had
listen, I definitely like my offense better, but I like your defense better.
Well, that's not answering the question. I think we could both admit to
that. But it's an offensive game.
One.
It's an offensive game.
I think my roster is better.
What is the chat saying? I'm looking at the screen, so
we dropped from like 100 to 60 because it's been we're 2 hours deep. But I just got Kyle has a better offense, but nobody's really saying who has the better team. Kyle would win in Madden. Joe would take the real world. I'll take the real world over Madden. So okay,
all right. So where's my holes on defense? Joe definitely has a better defense. There's no disputing that. But like my biggest hole on D comparative, like let's be honest, Joe's secondary is not good at all. Okay. My secondary, I got May, and like the corners, you could pretty much say that's a wash on both sides.
I have Hall. Hall is a lot better than Dunn, Eccles, Pinnock, Carter, or Guidry. Hall is actually a starting level corner at this point. So
I know, but you have Pinnock and I have Dunn. I would say that Dunn is better than Pinnock.
Okay, but Hall completely washes out your guys in terms of who you're going to match versus one on your team. Dunn?
Yeah.
UDFA, Eccles, 6th round pick, Guidry, undrafted guy. At least I have somebody like Hall is. You put him on Keenan Allen, you put him on Devontae Parker. Like he at least held up. So yeah, the corners are bad, but like I have like a legitimately good pass rush. Like the only guy I'm missing from that who I really want is JFM maybe at the end, but like Lawson, Rankins, Q, you could argue are the best 3 defensive linemen on the Jets.
Listen, the point is you ain't going to score no fucking points with those receivers.
They've scored point.
You ain't scoring. You're throwing to Braxton Berrios. This dude can't catch a cold.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I have Cole and Crowder. That's not. They're both average-ish wide receivers. I think Crowder is better than average. I think
you have
Cole,
no guys that can play on the boundary with consistency.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I think RTW.
And I got Elijah Moore. Listen, you want to say Elijah Moore? I could put him outside. I could put him in the slot too, and he'll dominate in the slot. You got no guys to throw to.
You got no rushers. I got Q, Rankins, and Lawson rushing you. Who's your rushers?
I got Vinny Curry and JFM. I could get some pressure every now and then.
Curry and JFM, and then your secondary can't hold up. And you have Cashman and Davis as your linebackers. I have Mosley and Hamza. Like my linebackers blow yours out of the water. I have a starting corner. I have a legitimately good defensive line. Yeah, my receivers aren't great, but I have a better running back. I have a better offensive line, in my opinion.
The point is you're not going to put up any points. You might stop me from scoring a lot of points, but you're not going to put up any points, and I'll put up just enough to beat you.
Okay, moving on. We're going to compare the
Joe could run all game with what offensive line? He's got he still has a rookie running back too.
You're starting McDermott.
Listen, all right, McDermott Joe has the better running back. Let's say it. But it's not like he's got Derrick Henry back there or something like that.
But my offensive line, I think is better than your offensive line. I think having McDermott at right tackle and Feeney at center is really, really bad. Like, yeah, I have, again, my tackles are definitely better. My center is easily better. The only thing that I have dropped off is the left guard versus left guard. The right guard versus right guard is not that big. So I think I have 2 huge upgrades on you where you only really have 1 on me at this point. on our offensive line. So my offensive line is better. My running back is better, so I could run the ball a little bit. Well, you'll be a little bit more pass. You'll be obviously more pass happy, but Crowder and Cole are better than, like I said, Andre Roberts and all these, Jeff Smith and Vincent Smith and all these guys have been running out. Chris Hogan and David Nelson over the last couple of years. Like, it's not terrible. Like, there's NFL players there. It's not like Cole and Crowder can't get open.
I'm having a tough time conceding that your offensive line is better. I want to say, I don't want to be too biased and say that it is. It's definitely more even across the board. Like,
it's more consistent. Like,
I have a glaring hole at right tackle, and I have a pretty big hole at center.
Yeah.
But then I also got some high end guys too. Well, even AVT at this point, he's still, he might struggle a little bit as a rookie.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting. I'm still taking my team. I think if you sit down and really look at it, I think you're taking my team.
Joe's team wins 3-0.
I'm
scoring, dude. I'm scoring points. Look at my receiving core.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, it's dark. My light's not working here, so it's just gonna be a computer light. It just looks like I'm a floating head at this point. So I'm wearing a black T-shirt. Whatever. So
I thought your T-shirt was like green.
It is green. I forgot, but it's a dark green. It's like
that was pretty fun. Regardless of whether I think some people liked it or not. Well, there's still a lot of people in the chat.
It's August, and we talked for 3 hours, so we're gonna have some topics that are a little silly, but we're 2 hours deep. It's gonna happen. The 58 people still in here, I appreciate you, for sure. But that happens. It usually gets up to whatever it is, and then after time, people drop off. Moving on, we are going to let me save those teams maybe, and then I'll send them to you, and then you can think about it, and you're gonna say that mine's better.
Put it on Twitter too, and make a poll on Twitter tomorrow when, like,
a poll on Twitter.
Yeah, do a poll on Twitter
I think that's gonna be a very large question. Like, I don't think you could fit that in a poll.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you'd need to put a screenshot, and it'd be hard to fit all that information there.
Well, I could put them both in notes, screenshot it, and then put them both up and say team A or B.
Yeah,
I can do that. All right, we'll do that tomorrow. Everybody who likes the channel, you better go. You better go vote for me. Okay, so we have a couple topics left. Comparing our team to the AFC East. The preseason, we drafted the Jets roster. We're going to run through some superlatives, which we might have to put some off to next show. Which we did. We did the superlatives last show, but I don't know if we're going to get through it all. We're going to go through the AFC East and again compare the teams. I'm using Vitor this. You want to get Vitor's opinion? Yoshi said I enjoyed it. Maybe next time and make it more interesting. You only have 30 seconds to pick. I think that's a comment at you, Kyle, because you're a deep thinker. So sometimes you'll sit there and be like, you just some dead air time, but it's okay.
I admit. I concede that point. Yes, you're right.
I concede. Okay, so again, Vitor wrote this article. I'm going off of his article, so I'm just going to go in order that he does. I guess we're going defense first. We're going defensive line, just comparing the teams. Obviously, with the Jets, you got Lawson, Williams, Fatukasi, Curry, JFM, Sheldon Rankins, Jonathan Marshall. You have Shepard. You have Blair. The Bills have Hughes. Do you think we're the best defensive line? I don't want to read every single roster. I don't think it's really close. Like, the Bills have Hughes, Oliver, Lutulele, and Addison.
Yes, we do.
The Pats have Guy, Barrymore, Henry, Anderson, and Judon, but that's not really a defensive line. He's a backer, so I don't really know what that is about. And then the Dolphins have Wilkins, Davis, Seisler, and I guess Jalen Phillips playing like a DN. I don't really know what they're going to do with that, but I think the Jets I think they're easily number one defensive line.
I agree.
Yeah, I think just in general, like, the Jets have a top 5 defensive line in the league this year. If you had to rank them, would you say? I would probably say the Jets definitely 1, Bills 2. Bills 2. Dolphins are the Pats at 3 though. Lawrence, Guy, Barrymore, Henry, Anderson, and I guess Judon, we could say. Wilkins, Davis, Seisler, Jalen Phillips. That's kind of hard. I think
that is hard
because I like Barrymore.
Phillips is still kind of unproven. He could be really good, but he's still unproven at this point.
I'm gonna give the Dolphins a nod, I guess. I like Wilkins. I like Davis, and I like the upside of Phillips. But I like Barrymore. That's kind of a wash to me, to be honest. But let's move on to the next ones.
Okay.
49er, Jordan Victor. We did a whole, I think like our show 2, not the last show, the 2 shows before that, we did a whole comparison of the Jets defensive line versus everybody else's defensive line. So you go watch that. But I think we said the Jets are better than the 49ers. We compared them to all the other really good ones. Now, somebody asked, I guess we have a Saints fan in here. He was like saying, how are people going to stop the Saints quarterback room? Like, what? Like they did last year. Wool 80, who I've never seen before, welcome, says, do you think Elijah Moore is better than AJ Brown? Not yet. Do I think he could be? Yeah, I think, but AJ Brown's like a top 10 receiver right now. So I think it's possible, but right now, no, not a chance.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Going to the off-ball linebackers, Jets obviously have, let's just say, Mosley, Davis, and then you have Cashman, Hamza, or Sherwood starting at that. The Bills have Milano, Edmonds, and Klein. The Pats have Hightower, Bentley, Kyle Van Noy, and the Dolphins have Baker, McKinney, Sam Ugovoen, and Van Ginkel. That's not a good dude. They don't really have good linebacking core either.
I want to say Pats won. Pats won. It's hard. I think Edmonds is overrated. I think he's good.
Yeah.
I think he's overrated. I want to say Bills too. Milano's very good.
How is Juwan Bentley though? Because he's starting for them.
Yeah, but I still think Van Noy's been very good with the Patriots. I know he had a down year with the Dolphins last year, but whenever he's been with Belichick, he's been good. Yeah.
I would say Pats.
And Hightower is one of the best. When I know his kind of big problem that he's had is he's had a tendency to have like seasons where he misses like 4 games or whatever. Like that's been pretty consistent across his career.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's in there, he's good, man. He's good.
Yeah, I would say the Jets are probably. I think I give the Jets the nod over the Dolphins, to be honest. I think I think Pats 1, Bills 2, Jets 3, Dolphins 4, because like Baker, McKinney they're nothing special. Like Mosley has like a legitimate, like I think he's a top 10 inside linebacker in the league. I think he still will be that this year. Like, I don't think it's going to fall off that badly. He might not be a top 5 anymore, but he might drop down a little bit. But he's still 29 years old, a really smart player, rested. Like I don't think it's going to be like a Le'Veon Bell type situation where he's not going to be good anymore. So I think the Jets have a lot higher of an upside because of Mosley, and then they have some young guys like Davis. He obviously underperformed with the Lions, but in general, like I think they'll use him right. And if any linebacking coach or core of coaches in the NFL is going to coach up a linebacker, it's the Jets. Legitimately.
No, that's a good point.
They have some guys with talent. So I'm going to put the Jets at 3 and the Dolphins at 4. I don't know if you agree with that.
I agree with that. Yeah. Van Ginkel is like one of those high effort guys. And I think Baker's a little overrated too. Fine player, but he ain't no CJ Mosley. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said my cousin is Matt Milano. Interesting, but
he didn't even spell the name right.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that.
There's a typo, maybe. Safeties. I think the Bills easily are first with Hyde and Poyer.
Yeah, definitely. And those guys they've been a good tandem for years now, and they keep getting slighted by like whatever ranking system they are. And I know that the Bills official Twitter account like tweeted out the other day, like you ranked all these safety duos over us. Like what? Those guys are good and they work. And part of it is too, like, forget the individuality. Like so much in football, especially in the secondary, is communication. And those guys communicate really well with each other too. So it's like, forget their individual skill sets for a moment. They also work really well with each other.
Somebody said Bills have the best linebacker core. I think
it's close. It's close in my opinion, but
I can go either way. I think it's a wash, to be honest. But I don't. They think it's the Bills easily. I don't think it's the Bills easily.
No, listen. The Bills definitely have the most. Like, if we were doing one of these going forward things, you'd say the Bills, because Edmonds is super young. Like he was drafted at 19 years old.
Yeah, really.
He wasn't even 20. So like he still has a long career ahead of him. Milano's young too. Hightower's on the back end of his career. So is Van Noy. But if we're talking just this year, I still like the Pats because I know Hightower took a year off, but if he's still what he was when we last saw him. He's still like borderline at the top of the league, like top 5-ish linebacker. And Van Noy's also like at his respective position. Like with the Pats, he was like a top 10 linebacker as well.
Going to safeties, Bills are easily first. Then the Pats have McCourty, Adrian Phillips. The Dolphins have Javon Holland and Eric Rowe. And the Jets obviously have May, Joyner, Davis. Bills by far easily. They have one of the best safety duos in the NFL, so they're easily number one. The rest of the division isn't that great, though. I would say maybe the Pats are two.
Who else do the Pats have besides McCourty?
Adrian Phillips. When I've watched him, I thought he's that.
Do they still have that safety that used to be on our team? I'm forgetting his name.
Terrence Brooks.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I don't know.
They don't. And Harmon's still with the Lions, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And Javon Holland and Eric Rowe. To be honest, I don't really remember how good or bad they are.
Eric Rowe has played like corner for most of his career.
And Javon Holland, like who is that?
I'll say the Pats over the Jets, but I would say the Jets over the Dolphins.
Okay. So yeah. Bills, Pats, Jets, Dolphins. Same thing with the linebacker core too. Dolphins defense, minus their corners, and their defensive line is decent, but the Jets are obviously the best defensive line. Now going, I might take the Jets over the Pats though. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
that's a close one.
Yeah, because because we'd have to say the Joyner. All right, listen, May.
Oh yeah, Holland is a rookie out of Oregon.
McCourty was drafted in 2010, the Kyle Wilson year. He was the pick, like 2 picks before Kyle Wilson, and he was drafted as a corner. So McCourty's like really on the back end of his career. So you have to figure that like May very well could have
a better season than McCourty
this year, and especially going forward. So and then Joyner has to be a better too. So let's take the Jets over the Pats. Let's do that.
Jets 2, Pats 3. I can agree with that. Corner, I think this is a spot where the Jets are easily going to finish worst. The Bills have Tre'Davious White, Levi Wallace, Taron Johnson. Pats have Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones, Jalen Mills, and the Dolphins have Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Jason McCourty, Justin Coleman.
Finn's won.
Yeah, Finn's won pretty because they have a legitimate, like really good number 1 and 2. I would say the Pats too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they have a really good 1 and 2 as well with Gilmore, and JC Jackson's a really good corner. Yeah. And then obviously the Dolphins have White, but Levi Wallace
even though Perriman ate his lunch on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, well, and then Levi Wallace is a 2 is not even close to JC Jackson or Byron Jones. So they're 3, and then the Jets obviously are easily 4.
They're in like a whole tier way down.
Way below. Way below. So pretty well out there. Now going to offense, I'm not gonna bring up all the ranks. I didn't write this stuff down. Offensive line overall. Do you want me to read them all?
No, we don't got to do all of them.
Do you think they
Pats won? Offensive line, Pats.
I might take the Jets.
No,
Isaiah Wynn's a good tackle.
You got Wynn. You got this guy Owenu, but it's pronounced Wenu. He was pretty good.
Dave Andrews good. Shaq Mason's good.
Solid. Mason's one of the better guards in the league. They lost Tooney. So who's replacing Tooney?
Shaq Mason?
No, well, Mason's going to be on the right. I don't know who the Patriots left guard is going to be.
Owenu.
Oh yeah, well he played some tackle. He mostly played tackle.
Yeah, Wynn's the left tackle, and then Trent Brown's the right tackle.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm forgetting about Trent Brown.
Yeah, I would say they're
definitely
first.
The Patriots.
Definitely. I would say they're first. I think next year, if let's say the Jets bring back Moses, and everybody improves, which I think Becton will get better, Veritek will obviously be solid. McGovern I think is gonna be an upgrade. If they replace their right guard next year with a relatively big signing or a high draft pick, I think the Jets could be 1. I just think they have a weak spot at right guard where the Pats don't really have a big weak spot. So
we also have to. I mean, listen, we have to prepare for potentially no Moses next year and no Fant.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think we'll have at least one.
At least one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But like, what if Moses has a really good year and he wants to sign somewhere else, and then Douglas is like, I don't want to pay it. Well, if he chooses to cut Fant at that salary, he'd probably have a replacement that's
and then the
just
Bills
as good, if not.
The Bills are 3: Deion Dawkins, Mitch Morse, Darrell Williams. Their guards aren't great, Feliciano and Cody Ford, but I like their tackles and their center. The Dolphins, dude, going through these rosters.
I know. Listen, I'll tell you this: Bills fans would definitely take their line. Well, they would say their line over us.
It's not. It's not. I think we've been pretty transparent.
Dawkins solid. He's definitely solid at left tackle.
Becton's better than Dawkins.
I agree with that.
I think,
but
AVT is better than Feliciano.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's the right tackle for the Bills? I'm forgetting.
Darrell Williams. He's good.
Who's the right guard?
Cody Ford.
He's been a disappointment.
Darrell Williams is at the level-ish of Morgan
I would
Moses,
definitely
I would
definitely take our line.
Yeah, no.
I think it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close though.
Relatively close. I think any unbiased fan's going to take the Jets over the Bills, though, to be honest.
Yeah, give us the Jets, Bills
and
3, and Dolphins way down there 4.
The Dolphins, like going through all this, like this is why it's good to do it. The Dolphins roster, like their safeties, their linebackers, their defensive line is decent, but it's not what the other teams are.
Yeah.
Their offensive line,
and Tua is still a big question mark, bro.
Tua is a question mark. Austin Jackson, Solomon Kinley, Matt Skura, Robert Hunt, and Jesse Davis is their offensive line. Like, that's not a good offensive line. Like it's not good. Bottom 10 offensive line.
And this dude Hunt, like he was like a really late round draft, and he impressed. Like he definitely like well exceeded his draft stock. But I mean, like if we're acting like he's a plus starter,
they drafted
at this point. He's not.
They also have Eichenberg too. They drafted and DJ Fluker, who are decent backups, but still, that's still a bottom 10 offensive line.
Yeah.
Going to the tight ends, I think this is pretty easy. Who's won with the Patriots with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith?
Definitely, they're in their own tier,
obviously. And then the Dolphins have Gesicki and Durham Smythe, and the Bills have Knox and Hollister. So I'm gonna put Pats 1 very easily.
Dolphins 2, Bills 3, Jets 4.
Yeah, the Jets are not even obviously close in that category. Now going to running backs, Jets have obviously Carter, Coleman, Ty Johnson, P. Ryan. Bills have Singletary, Moss, Breda. Pats have Damian Harris, Sony Michel, James White, and the Dolphins have Gaskin, Malcolm Brown, and Salvin Ahmed.
Pats 1.
Pats 1. Yeah, Damian Harris is the best player out of all those players. And Sony Michel, while being a disappointment, I'm not a big fan of him, but James White's a really, really good receiving back.
Exactly.
Really good. So yeah, I would say Pats 1. Are the Jets 2? Nobody else has a really good running back. Singletary was a kind of disappointment for the Bills last year. I know Zach Moss was okay.
Yeah, this is tough.
We don't really have a lot of good players here.
Pats 1 so easily, and I'm struggling to pick 2.
I don't like the Dolphins at all here either. Myles Gaskin, Malcolm Brown, and Salvin Ahmed. I don't think they're good.
They're not good. They looked pretty good against us last year, but they're not very good.
I'm taking the Jets too. I like Michael Carter a lot, and then I like Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman as like a depth guy.
This dude Moss is a bruiser, but I think he lacks things like vision and getting to the second level and stuff. It's hard to bring him down upon first contact. But yeah, whatever. Say we're biased, whatever. I'll take the Jets too, though. Like we got good depth, and that was one of the things that Jeremiah said as well about the Jets, that they have a lot of running back depth, and I do agree with that. And honestly, This is one of the things I planned on saying tonight. I honestly would have it that way. Like we have a bunch of young guys on cheap ass contracts at young running back. And what does that give you? Running back is the position that gets hurt the most. So even if one of our guys goes down, so what? We got another guy who's comparable skill set, it's not like we're losing a big contract guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like it.
I see a bunch of you guys like doing their rankings too. It's kind of hard to know exactly where you're at with your rankings, but it seems like people are relatively kind of on the similar pages as us. I think Pats 1, Jets 2,
Bills 3.
I like Gaskin more than Moss or Singletary though.
Yeah,
I do. Good point. I like Gaskin a decent chunk more than those guys. I think I'm putting the Dolphins 3, the Bills 4, just based on who their one is.
I'm fine with that. Gaskin's a small dude, but
I like the way he runs though, from what I've seen. Moss would be our running back one. I do not agree with that, Jordan. I don't like Moss that much. I like Carter more than if I had to take one guy for this year. I like Carter, but again, he's a rookie, so you never know.
Dude, Moss isn't going to give you much in the receiving game too, and I don't like a running back in today's game that's one dimensional.
So I know this is going to be an interesting discussion because I think we all kind of have like decent people here. But again, looking back at the build, like the Dolphins, like running backs, subpar. Let's be honest. Offensive line, subpar. Safeties, subpar to me. Linebackers, subpar. Like, the Dolphins going through their team is not. They lost a decent amount of. Like I think their defensive line's pretty good, but
thing is they have a pretty good coach.
I like the coaching. That's why, yeah.
Although it seems like he has a thing for rubbing certain players the wrong way. Supposedly, I mean, there's been some chatter about that. But the thing about the Dolphins too is they do have a lot of picks going forward. So
I like the way they're going. I just don't think their roster last year, I think is better than this year. I don't think they took steps in the right direction necessarily. And two is still a huge question, obviously. Yeah. Receivers. This is interesting. I think we can go kind of work our way from the bottom up. I think the Pats are easily 4.
Yeah, definitely.
Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, and Jacoby Myers is terrible. Let's be honest. It's terrible. Yeah. Bourne is like a depth receiver with the 49ers. Aguilar was a guy who was like on the street a couple of months. Like he was okay with the Raiders.
He had a resurgence.
The fact he got like $13 million a year is absurd. Jacoby Myers is Myers. Like, okay.
Wasn't he like a quarterback in college, at least for part of the time?
I think so. So they're easily 4.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Man, this is tough.
Yeah, and we were talking about this last week.
Yeah, because oh man. Okay, so let's just settle this one. Well, no. Okay, let's do Jets versus Dolphins real quick.
Okay.
Parker versus Davis. Let's just Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle.
I'll take Corey Davis over Devontae Parker. I mean, listen, we can say this though. Devontae Parker has had 1,000-yard season. Now, I know it's just stats and what does that mean? And I think Parker's had around 10-ish touchdowns in a given year. Davis hasn't really come close to that.
So we got one person who's saying, Jordan saying Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Pats. So I think
I think I'd put Bills 1 just because they just have that true top 5 receiver.
So I like the Jets' depth a lot more than the Bill. Like I like their maybe they're 3, 4, 5 more than the Bills 3, 4, 5, but their number 1 is a legit like top 5 number.
And Cole Beasley's a beast last year.
He's really, really good. Yeah,
almost had 1,000 yards as a slot.
Yeah. So he's really good. But then past that, Sanders, Isaiah McKenzie, Gabe Davis. I like Gabe Davis. McKenzie and Sanders are kind of like whatever.
Sanders can give you something.
I like
give you something at this point in his career.
I think
I would put Bills 1.
I think that Sanders is decent and Davis and McKenzie are decent. But with that being said, with the Jets, like I'm taking Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole, Crowder, and maybe Mims over all those guys. I just think that the Cole Beasley Diggs combo is really, really, really good. So I'm gonna put Bills 1.
Yeah.
Pats 4.
Yep.
Jets 2.
I want to take
because I like Parker, but he's
I think
he's more of a number 2.
So we can say that Moore is still unproven, but we could say the same thing about Waddle and
Moore is legitimately really impressing.
And I haven't been hearing Waddle's been tearing it up in camp, and it's just I get it, it's camp, it's practice, but. Listen, we liked Moore's film better than, not to say that we watched a ton of Waddle, but just based off of what we did watch, we liked Moore's film better.
Both of where they were picked, I think the Dolphins kind of thought that somebody else was going to fall to them there, and they got kind of screwed. I don't like Waddle that high. I don't love that pick.
I think that was their plan to take him there because, they planned on trading back. Like, who else would they have taken at 6? Like their plan.
I think they're hoping that a lot of Dolphins guys are saying they hope that Pitts or who was picked at 5.
I think everybody knew Pitts was going to go.
Who was the 5th pick? Right before that.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah. I thought they're thinking for Pitts or Chase, and they were both taken. I think they were probably banking on the Bengals taking Sewell.
Yeah, maybe.
I just don't think that. I don't think that Waddle's worth a 6th pick. I'm just not that high on him, like for the 6th pick. I think he's good. I just don't think that's a great pick.
He's an insane burner. There's no doubt about that. But
so is Henry Ruggs.
I just Moore is like a much more polished receiver.
And in terms of the fit, like Tua's not a guy to throw the ball deep. Like he's more conservative. So how does that fit? You know, just like with Ruggs going to the Raiders, they're typically a dink and dunk offense.
I wouldn't call Tua conservative. I just don't think that Tua's got the arm.
Yeah.
Like Tua likes to push the ball downfield, but Fitzpatrick also likes to push the ball downfield. The problem is
the 30 yards it gets.
The thing about Fitzpatrick is if Fitzpatrick wants to go deep, he's got to go deep like when he hits the top of his drop. Like there's no like hitting the top of your drop and then waiting like a half a second. Like Fitzpatrick, like he needs to get that, like he's not hitting guys 50 yards downfield. He just doesn't have the arm strength to do it, but he likes pushing the ball downfield.
Like I think
Tua is similar in that regard. That Tua is aggressive, and this is like, and I know I brought this up on a previous show. Saban actually criticized Tua for this, saying, well, like he praised him and then kind of like criticized him at the same time, saying like he's aggressive and he wants to hold on the ball because he wants to hit deep shots, but it sometimes gets him hurt because he's taking extra shots because of that. But Tua has one of the worst arms in terms of pushing the ball downfield, I think.
Process, I think the Jets have a nice steady core, but the Dolphins have a higher ceiling. I don't agree with that at all. Mims has a pretty high ceiling. Moore obviously has a high ceiling.
Corey Davis hasn't hit his ceiling yet. Elijah Moore hasn't hit his ceiling yet. I think Devontae Parker has hit his ceiling.
Yeah, like a solid number 2.
I don't think you're going to see anything better from Parker than what you saw 2 years ago.
Yeah, whose ceiling are we talking about? Because Parker's, I think, reached a max. Fuller is older and consistently injured. So you're talking about Waddle versus Mims, Moore, Davis. I don't agree with that at all. I'm taking the Jets because
I would say Jets
because Will Fuller he's a deep threat, but he's consistently injured. So you have like Devontae Parker, Waddle. Fuller is inconsistent. Preston Williams is decent depth, but like Davis is a low tier number 1, high end number 2. Mims we think is better than people think he is. Crowder's a solid slot receiver. Moore looks like he could be like legit. And then Keelan Cole
Crowder is unquestionably one of the better slot receivers in the league.
And Keelan Cole, if we go through all the rosters in the NFL, is legitimately probably one of the very best 4th or 5th receivers in the league. Legitimately. He's very good for a 4th or 5th receiver.
Yeah.
So we're going Bills 1, Jets 2, Dolphins 3, Pats way down at 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Garbage. Which is not going to necessarily bode well for the Jets in terms of their linebackers, like because they're going to run heavy 12, you know. So who is going to match up versus Jonnu Smith or Hunter Henry? The next group, I think that's about it. No, okay. Quarterback, I guess that's the last one, right? Yeah, quarterback.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're taking the Bills number 1 with Josh Allen.
Who would have thought we'd say that 2 or 3 years ago, but yeah.
And then I think the Jets are 2 pretty easily.
Yeah.
Starters?
I would say so. Yeah.
Cam Newton.
I'm not taking Cam. Cam is bad
or
last year. I don't give a shit what people would say. Like, I know the receivers weren't good for the Pats last year. So what? Tom Brady was also throwing to pretty fucking bad receivers his last year in New England. But look at his stat line and how productive that offense was compared to what it was with Cam. That is the biggest reason why that Patriots offense was so putrid last year.
Yeah. So Josh Allen 1, Jets, I think pretty easily 2. I think every single Dolphins fan in the world.
I wouldn't say easily 2. I wouldn't say easily 2. And here's why I'd say this. 2 is in year 2. So there's a huge learning curve from year 1 to year 2. So Tua should be better this year than Wilson. But I think talent-wise, Wilson is clearly the superior player.
I think every single Dolphins fan in the world who's not unbiased would if they could trade Zach Wilson right now for Tua, I think they're doing it.
I think so too.
There was talk of them trying to get, Deshaun Watson and all these guys, and should they move on like in his first year? Like Zach, like we wouldn't trade for Deshaun Watson right now with Wilson. No way. We wouldn't entertain that.
Oh yeah, listen. There's no question in my mind that I'm taking Wilson over Tua. I don't have to think twice.
But I'm putting the Dolphins at 3 and then the Pats at 4. Are you taking Mac Jones or Tua? I haven't watched
it's
enough
Cam.
Mac Jones to really know.
Cam's the starter. It's not Mac Jones.
So we're taking the Dolphins at 3.
Sure.
Okay. Looking at the comparisons, like, yeah, I think we are, if we had to bet, probably going to finish in 4th, but I could see us being better than the Dolphins.
Yeah, I actually had someone ask me on, it was actually Instagram, like, what do you think is going to happen in the AFC East? Like, I feel very comfortable that the Bills are going to win the division, but honestly, I could see anyone else finishing 2 in the division. I could see the Pats finishing 2nd. I could see the Jets finishing 2nd, and I could see the Dolphins finishing 2nd in the division.
Yeah. So, hold on. My stream is doing something weird. Okay. Yeah, but like, so for the Dolphins, like, again, like their safeties, their linebackers, their running backs, like they have good, like, solid receiver core for sure. They have solid defensive line, but
their corners are good.
Their corners, their defensive line, their coaching, their receivers, their tight ends are decent, but like, I don't think they're a stacked, like, people act like they're like easily a wild card 10-6, or sorry, 10-7.
Dude, they had a chance. They had a chance
team.
to win. Listen, last year there were 7 teams that made the playoffs. First time ever that happened. They had a chance. They had a win-in game. Buffalo already had locked up, 2nd round. So Buffalo didn't need that game, and the Dolphins got smashed week 17 last year.
Like, I just think a lot of Dolphins fans act like they're definitely better than the Jets. I think the Jets, like, easily have the better defensive line. I think the linebackers are better. I think that's an argument, but the better defensive line, easily the better offensive line. And then you can argue a couple other positions, but like, I don't think they're that far off of a team of the Dolphins. I really don't. Like, I think the Jets fans are being too cautious when they say, "Oh, I'm predicting 5 wins." I would be really disappointed with 5 wins. Like, really disappointed. I would be disappointed with anything less than 7. I'm expecting 7 wins. I could see 6.
We said 9. We said 9.
I would probably say, like, just based on a rookie coach, like, maybe if I had to put my money on it, probably 8 and 9. If I had to say one record for the Jets,
sure,
just give them that one game. Like, maybe they lose to like the Falcons or the Saints, who we probably predict them to beat just based on the coaching matchup. Or not. I'm not saying for the Falcons. I'm just saying in general. So 8 and 9, but like, if they finish with 5 wins, 6 wins is the lowest. I'd be like, okay, like 6 wins, but like 7 to 9 wins is my real range, with 6 being a possibility, but really, really low, and me not being super happy. And 10 wins is a possibility. Like, I think it's a possibility. Again, you look at last year, I think they get another couple wins with Josh Saleh as a coach, at least 1 win. Let's just say at least 1 win. And the argument I can make is, if the Jets team in 2019 can finish 7 and 9, why can't this team be better than 7 and 9? Like, we play a really bad schedule, or a really easy schedule. Mm-hmm. That team was by far less talented, like not even close, with a terrible head coach. So why can't this Jets team get 7 wins? And then we start looking to the 2015 team. Is this team that much worse than the 2015 team, or is it better? Like, we could do that on a show, but like, the receivers, like, yeah, you're going to take Marshall, Decker, and Enunwa probably as like your top 3, but like that, you can even argue that depending on how high Elijah Moore's ceiling is. But like, the offensive line, easily better. The defensive line, easily better. Zach Wilson, can he not be Fitzpatrick?
You have a true edge rusher now. You didn't have that in 2015.
Who are the linebackers in 2015? Like an old David Harris and who else? Like, the safeties. Who were the safeties? Like Calvin Pryor and Terrence Brooks and Rontez Miles.
That Jets team won. They won 10 games based on a really easy schedule. They played the NFC East that year. The NFC East was terrible. And when they played the Cowboys, there was no Tony Romo. So
yeah, so this is what I'm saying. I don't expect 10 wins, but just based on the schedule, tell me why the 2015 Jets are definitely better than the 2021 Jets, and why. That's what I want to know, because where is it? Offensive line, defensive line, most important parts of the game this team blows out of the water. The receiver core, you can argue one or the other, but this depth is easily better. Like, the corners might have been better then, but like, it's,
that was the last year we swept Miami. Miami was really bad that year.
That was the game. That was the year where we played Miami in the first game in London. Like the first pass was like a 50-yard bomb to
Marshall.
Marshall? Yeah, Marshall.
Beat Brent Grimes. Yeah.
He was trash at the end of his career too.
Don't tell that to his wife.
So we appreciate everybody who's sticking in here again. 3 hours in, 52 people. I'm okay with it. We're gonna. I know during the season it's gonna jump up too, but we have some diehards who stay in here for 3 hours, so I appreciate you guys. Let's go to some of the superlatives that we didn't get to. We'll hit some of them, maybe leave some of them for the next show.
Okay.
Jordan's saying 5 to 7 wins. I don't. Again,
dude. So Jordan, here's what I'm saying. Go look at the Jets schedule, and of course this is hard to do right now because so much of when you okay, who's injured for this game, but assuming that the team's relatively going to be healthy, go through the schedule. You're going to see that it doesn't look that grueling.
No, it's not even that grueling. It's easy. There's a lot of easy games there. And
think about it. Like they're playing the NFC South this year. The NFC South 2 years ago was a really solid division, but now the Falcons, they're full rebuild. The Panthers are going to suck. The Saints, they're not what they were.
The Jaguars, the Bengals.
Yeah, we were fourth place last year, so we got a fourth place schedule. So that means that we're playing all the fourth place teams in the AFC. So the schedule's very much winnable.
It's the hardest thing in the schedule is the Bucs at the end and in the division we play. You can argue, okay, the Bills we get swept, and the Pats, people automatically assume sweep. I would take a split because of Bill Belichick versus rookie quarterbacks. The Dolphins, I'll be okay with a split too. So they could easily be 2-4 in the division. And who's to say they don't go 1-5, which would suck, obviously, but 5-7 again, or 5-2-7 wins. Just all you have to do is go through the schedule, like Kyle said, and then go look at this team and realistically compare the roster and the coaching to 2019, and then look at 2015. Why is this team worse than those teams? And obviously everything's different, stuff like that, but just in general. Praj said 7 wins at a minimum. I see 6 wins as a minimum, but my realistic range, if I had to get it, is 7 to 9 wins. That's what I see, but maybe I'm wrong. And I'm not an optimistic Jets fan, but let's go back to some superlatives. We'll do it for maybe another 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Maybe we'll crank them all out. Maybe not. This is leftover from the other show. Ben Kiley said, are you guys going to do a game by game record prediction? Not last live stream, 2 live streams ago. We did that. It's the July 5th live stream. Fast forward to the last 20 minutes of the show. We did that. So if you want to go watch.
And the crazy thing about it was we just did it on the fly, and every single game we agreed on. We're aligned. We agreed on.
And we finished at 9-8. But I think if I had to go back, I'll just give them one random loss for the coaching. I'll say 8-9 if I had to bet on it. I put 250 on them being 6 on the 6.5 over. So they got to win at least 7. That's why I'd be really disappointed with 6. So, okay, we're going back. This is the last show we ended with the superlatives. We didn't get to them all. So we're gonna wrap it up with the superlatives. And then next show, we're gonna talk about preseason game 1. We're gonna do the 53-man roster prediction. Okay. Underrated. I guess we did overrated in Jets history. And I kind of to you. I think I said DeBrickashaw, Nick and David Harris, which might not make me popular, but I think they are overrated by Jets fans, to be completely honest. Underrated. This is because he's maybe one of my more favorite players, but I said Chris Ivory.
Okay.
I really liked Chris Ivory.
Are we talking about underrated in terms of league recognition or in terms of Jets fans?
Maybe, yeah, fans. Cause I guess it's kind of a combination of both.
I think a lot of Jets fans like Chris Ivory. So I wouldn't pick him personally, but okay. I liked him too. He was a good player.
It. Yeah.
You know what it took me, I didn't think of this immediately, but for what I said, most underrated Jets and at least somewhat recent history, I said Matt Lawson. Think about it.
He went to the Bears and was solid.
He was always overshadowed by DeBrick and Mangold. He walked in day one as a starter. As a rookie. Okay. Had a fine career here. Then he went on and had productive years also in Chicago. Nobody ever was hyping up Matt Lawson. Right. So that's why, and part of the reason I said that too is the Jets. If you just look at us, especially ever since you and I have really been following the team closely, Joe, talent wise, you compare our team to most of the league. We haven't had a bunch of superstars. So when we do get good players, I think our fan base tends to overhype them. So,
yeah,
like I'm thinking about even some of the Jets players that have been good. Well, they usually get overhyped. So I wanted to think of kind of an under the radar guy. So that's why I picked him.
Again, yeah, I said David Harris and DeBrickashaw Ferguson being overrated by Jets fans in history. Like they were solid. They were just never great, and I think people refer to them like, oh, Hall of Fame, like great players. Maybe not with David Harris, but like more with Brick. But Brick was always like in that 5 to 10 range, and people act like he was one of the best tackles in the league for years and years, and he just wasn't. I know consistency is a thing too, but just in general, Mike said
you could do a lot worse.
I don't think Sean Ellis was underrated. I think he was properly rated.
Yeah, he was. Listen, Sean Ellis was a top 10-ish draft pick. Was he taken before Abraham? He might have been taken before Abraham.
I was like, 8 years old, so I forget.
It's a little hard to call him underrated.
Mike Galiza says 7 to 9 wins. Yeah, that's my range too. That's what I think. Overrated signing, Kyle.
I said LaMarcus Joyner.
Okay, so I had two. I put LaMarcus Joyner and Tevin Coleman were the two that I think of. Coleman, his film wasn't great the last couple of years. He had a couple of the Panthers game really helped him out and stuff. And Joyner, while I think he's okay, I think his 2018 PFF Rams ratings and all that stuff get people overhyped for him, where I think they rated him too high. Like he wasn't great. Just go watch the review. He was okay, solid, but not great. So Joyner and Coleman are my two.
Okay.
Moses.
I don't
Eagle says Eagle, you weren't here the whole time. My light's not working for some reason. It like blew out. I got to replace the light bulb. Somebody said Joyner. Yeah, you agree. Moses, I think in terms of people thinking he's like a top, I think Jets fans think he's more of like the top 5 to 10 right tackle in the league, where realistically I think he's more of like 14 to 16 type range. I don't think I think he's solid. I just don't think he's great. So he was an average-ish tackle throughout his career and had a good year last year, but some of his games, again, like JJ against TJ Watt, people are like, oh, he dominated him. TJ Watt ate his lunch on quite a few reps in that game. Yeah. So next one, underrated signing. I actually have a couple guys here.
The Cowboys edge rusher tore him up too.
DeMarcus Lawrence in 2019 destroyed him. Yeah. Proud, I agree with you. He's about average. I think the same thing that you do with Moses. There's a reason his max contract is $5.3 million and his base or whatever is 3.5. Like he would get more than that if he was a great tackle. Like he's average. Maybe a little bit above on a good day.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Did you ask me another one?
Underrated signing.
Corey Davis.
Wow.
Here's my thing. Like maybe since camp, and so I put this together. We're talking 2 weeks ago. Like this is layover from 2 weeks ago. So this is before camp, and from what I've seen on social media and stuff, a lot of people were talking about Moore and, some other guys and stuff. But when you factor in that contract that we got him for, I'm still kind of surprised that we got him from the number that we got him for. We're talking about, this was the 5th overall pick. This guy was taken before Jamal Adams.
Especially if you compare him to Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah. And I know he's dealt with some injuries in his career, but I think I almost want to say this was kind of like a steal to get him at that number. And I just don't feel like
comparatively, yeah,
people are giving him the credit that he deserves. So I think this signing is going a little bit under. And I also have honorable mention. I have Keelan Cole here. Honorable mention, but I felt like overall,
yeah, Keelan Cole's a good one. I can agree with that. Praj says Curry, which is one of mine. I have a couple guys here, to be honest. When I watched him, I was pretty happy. Curry is one of them. People just think he's a Jag. He's not. And then Praj and Eagle are talking about some tackles next year coming out. Neal or whatever. I could see the Jets drafting a right tackle first round next year.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. Man.
You get that, and then you sign a solid right guard, and your offensive line, you keep them together for a couple of years. That's awesome. But yeah, Cole's good. Curry. I think for how much he's going to contribute, I think Croft is a little bit overlooked when he's healthy. I think Ronald Blair, I think is something people don't even think about. Kyle Smith of the NFL, I think he's a little bit overlooked. And then the last one I had, who I typed out first, was like just based on what I saw in 2018, even at the end of 2020 with him, is Rankins. Like if Rankins gets back to form.
So wait, if you can only pick one, who are you going to pick?
The most underrated signing?
Just one.
Oh, man. Is Rankins properly ranked with Jets fans? Like, do people really know how good he was in 2018, you think?
I
would probably say
I think most people just look at that PFF number from like the last couple of years and they say, "Oh,
yeah." So if that's the case, then Rankins. But I would have to, if not him, and then like again, this was 2 weeks ago before camp. I would probably say Cole. I don't think people understand how good he was last year with the Jaguars. Like how many times he was overthrown. He could have easily had 10 more catches, 3-4 more touchdowns if it wasn't Luton and Mike Lennon throwing the ball. Like he was missed a lot in that film review. Overrated draft pick.
Sherwood.
Same. Yes, he's my least favorite draft pick based on where he was drafted. I'm not a big fan. Underrated draft pick.
This one was a little harder because I almost don't want to say that this person was underrated because there was some people hyping him up, but this wasn't easy because a lot of the guys we picked really early who seemed kind of like home run picks were really, really, really overhyped. So I struggled with this one a little bit, but I picked Hamza.
Nah.
Because people did hype him up a lot. So what are you going to say?
I think this was hard because fans, if anything, tend to lean more positive. So like, who do they underrate? And Hamps is a guy who I think everybody thinks is going to start and like loves. Like when you ask anybody like who's your sleeper draft pick,
so you're going to say Eccles? You're going to say Eccles?
No, Carter the second. I like him as a slot. I do. I think his film was pretty clean. So I had Carter the second as the underrated draft pick. Breakout player on offense.
Dude, I wrote Denzel Mims, and I wrote I can't put more here because like who's going to be surprised if more breaks out?
Yeah, I think breakout is more, when you say breakout, it's more of like second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth year guys. Like you can't break. I don't like you could, I guess, break out in your rookie year, but it's usually like breaking. I don't see rookies as breakout really necessarily.
Yeah. And so that was part of the reason why I picked it because he's not a rookie. And second, because there's so much hype behind him that just no one's gonna be surprised, but some people are still sleeping on Mims. So I have him as the breakout.
If you take Mims of week whatever it was 9 to 13 when he was playing with Flacco, and you just compile that over a season, and he's just that player, but that's already a breakout. And like now you're not even assuming he's going to be better with another year of training and getting used to the offense, new offense obviously, but better talent around him, better quarterback, better system. So I had Mims, and then that would be my number one. My number two is I think Ty Johnson. Under the system is going to be, I think he's going to break out a little bit.
Good one.
Yeah. Next one, I had we're going to move through these. Maybe we'll get them all done because we have a lot to talk about next week with the whole 53-man roster and a preseason game to talk about.
I think so.
If we expedite a little bit because we have a kind of a decent amount of topics still. Favorite current Jet.
Wait, isn't there a breakout on D?
I said breakout.
I think you wrote breakout on O and breakout.
Okay. Well, I had those as my breakout players in general. Who would be your defensive player?
I wrote Bryce Hall.
Breakout on D. Who I would say just not to be, like the opposite of you. I would say a guy who more people are going to talk about because of some splash plays he's going to make in the run game. I would say Blair. I think people are not talking about him enough in the run game. He's going to be more of a contributor than people think, I think.
He's just been around for a decent while though, so
yeah.
Anyway,
so let's go. Oh yeah, good. Mike put it a good way. Rookies burst onto the scene. Vets break out. Yeah, that's a good one. But favorite current Jet.
Why don't you answer yours first?
Quinnen Williams. Okay. I would say I like Cole. I like a couple of guys. I like, obviously everybody's like Lawson. We haven't had a pass rusher in forever, but I would say Q is my favorite.
All right. Give me some time with this one. So my favorite Jet is Zach Wilson. And for me, it's personal. because, after this long season that we had, and then the long off season that we had.
Dude, how many times did we have to tell people that they were trading Darnold and going to take a quarterback? We fought for.
For me, it was telling people that that's what they should do. I wasn't 100% convinced, dude. I remember after they hired Saleh, Adam Schefter's on ESPN or whatever it is, and he's saying, my understanding is the Jets are sticking with Sam Darnold. And I was like, holy shit. I mean, this is Adam Schefter we're talking about here.
Yeah. I got a little nervous, but since it was early for me. And I don't want to be like, there's video of it, but week 5 or 6, I was like, nope.
Yeah. Dude, I was done by week 2 with him. Yeah, I was San Francisco game.
Yeah.
It was after his first pick of the Colts game. I was like, okay, I'm done with him. And that's when I started going on like a tweet and rampage. So let me answer this in detail. I promise I won't spend as much time with.
After I say expedite, you're like, let me really break this down player by player.
Yeah, this is close to my heart, man. So after having a long battle with those Darnold people, but it was also the internal stress with myself. Like I couldn't be certain for a long time until the Wilson rumors really, really, really started to heat up. There was still a little bit of uncertainty with me. It was, and some of it even existed until we actually traded him to the Panthers. So why is he my favorite Jet? I didn't play quarterback or anything like that, but I've always been jealous of people that have or they root for a team like Aaron Rodgers, and you could just watch that great quarterback play every Sunday. And
dude, if we got Darnold, what he was against the Texans and the Packers, that's all I need.
That would be cool. So my thing is I feel like we can have a guy who can say, yeah, he's ours. And everybody's going to know about him. And think about Tom Brady for a moment. Even though he, and let's say that maybe Wilson, let's say hopefully he has a great career with the Jets. And even if he goes and finishes his career with somewhere else, I could be okay with that. Brady is always going to be known as a Patriot. He's going to retire as a Patriot. Even though he won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, he's still a Patriot.
No shit. Yeah.
And I think that hopefully we can finally have a guy for 10, 15, maybe 20 years. And I think this kid's got the potential to be that. So I think he's going to shatter records. And I think that, we've had such a bad offense. Let me give you a couple stats. And I know I've said some of these stats before. Only us and the Bears are the only teams this century to never have a 4,000-yard passer. Just us and the Bears. And take it for what it's worth, but they like saying it. The only team in this century to never have a quarterback grade of over 80, according to PFF, is the Jets. That's how bad our quarterback play has been for as long as we've rooted for this team.
I saw this thrown around a lot in the last couple of days. I don't know where, maybe it's Twitter, but we haven't had a 400-yard passing game since I think it was 2000 or 2001 or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, that seems about right. And sometimes 400 passing yard games, that's you trying to catch up. Even Blake Bortles has had a couple 400-yard passing games. Yeah, exactly.
And we've been catching up a lot. We've been trying to catch up.
Yeah, the thing is we'll be really behind in games, but we're so bad sometimes that even though teams will, okay, it's 3rd and long, we'll give them some underneath routes. We still can't even complete those. So I think Wilson's going to shatter records, and he's going to stop the disrespect around the league. So that's why he's my favorite Jet, even though he hasn't played an actual snap yet.
We have Eagle, and some people just talk about Darnold. Yeah, we obviously screwed Darnold, but to argue that Darnold wasn't really bad year 3 and all of year 2 is disappointing, you're just fooling yourself. Regardless,
it's part of the system.
There's plenty of plays put up where guys are wide open. He was looking at me, wouldn't pull the trigger. He's bad. So people are talking about Mims. People are talking about Mike asks, are you guys at all worried about Wilson not being a star? What if he's just a top 15-ish guy at his best, like a Baker Mayfield level is where he ends up? I wouldn't be happy if he's Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield is overrated.
That would be disappointing.
Baker Mayfield has a very, 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 very good team around him. Very good. And
I'll tell you,
Sam
is a much more talented player than Baker Mayfield. And I know that some people, just because of the height, even though Zach's, he's taller than Baker, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my comparison to him is Baker Mayfield. I don't.
It's because he wears a headband, and they're both like have like a little bit of swagginess to him. That's it. Like,
yeah.
That's
a Mike Tannenbaum comparison for you. Now Zach's definitely way more talented.
So yes, that would be a disappointment to me. Because then at what point do you not pay him? Because like I don't feel like you can win a Super Bowl, or not at least in history. Again, we've talked about this a lot of times. We're arguing this. Like you need 90% of the time you need an elite quarterback to win on a second contract. And like the last 20 years or whatever, it's only been, what are the 5 names I always brought up? It's Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady, who have won on their second contracts. I believe. I could be wrong. Maybe there's one other guy, but what's the common trend with all those guys? Elite quarterbacks. So you need an elite quarterback to win on a second contract typically, because you dedicate a lot of cap, a la Russell Wilson, guys leave, et cetera. And then you can't get back there.
I mean, listen, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, but he was still on his rookie deal. It was the last year of his rookie deal.
Like, can you imagine like even the Ravens right now, like they're going to sign Lamar Jackson, but would you? I don't know if you win a Super Bowl with him. I don't think he's top 5. I don't think he's on the edge of top 10.
They could win a Super Bowl with him, but they would need to have good matchups.
He's not elite. He's not elite. He's not elite.
With the Ravens, you can't get down in games, because if you're expecting Lamar Jackson to throw you back into a game, you're going to really struggle.
I don't think he wins on a second contract. I don't think he's good enough. Just like Baker, I don't know if Baker wins when he gets his money.
I think he's in a good situation, and the thing about Lamar
once you pay him,
and dude, how good is he going to be doing this shit when he's in his 30s?
That was what I'm saying. Even Baker, like Baker, once he doesn't have this elite roster, because you have to pay him another $30 million a year. I don't think they're going to win with Baker Mayfield. So I think you need an elite guy. So I would not be happy with Baker Mayfield as the.
It would be disappointing, but shit, it would still be better than what we've had.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to push some of these off, honestly, Kyle, because the next couple ones are. So we'll do a couple more. I put least favorite Jet, and then I just put LOL after it, because I think who mine is. Like I literally just put it's not a question.
We don't even have to say it.
I think for the new people I could, but Bless Lawson by far is my least favorite Jet. I'm not a big fan at all.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll see in a 53-man roster prediction. I don't know.
I have him there too.
Yeah. Plus
is there 2 people out there that are harsher on him than us?
No way. I don't think there's no way. Eagle said you can win a Super Bowl with Lamar, but you can't be losing games. I think you could win a Super Bowl with him on his rookie contract. I don't think you can win a Super Bowl with him on his second contract. That's what I'm saying.
Well, here's my thing. Like, the organization is really good. Like, good front office, good coaching, right? It's just been a good situation for a really long time, and they consistently have good defenses year in, year out. If they pay Lamar big money and they draft well, like the next couple of drafts, it is possible, conceivably, for them to win a Super Bowl. But things would have to break right for them. Like, I wouldn't pick them as like a favorite in any given year, because I think Lamar, like, he's like top 10-ish, but he's much more closer to the 10
than the spectrum. 5 or 1.
Exactly.
But the thing is, again, so Manning, Rodgers, Brees, Roethlisberger, Brady, guys who won their second contracts in the last 20 years or whatever it's been. Lamar is not close to any one of those guys in their prime to me. So I'm not about it. I that's why the rookie contract is so big, because you can get that extra 2 tackles and a defensive lineman for that price you're gonna be paying a quarterback. Like that's the difference between having Corey Davis, Lawson, and Rankins on a team, who are going to be 3 big contributors. Literally, like that's the difference you're talking about, rookie contract versus signing these guys to $40 million contracts. But okay, continuing. Let's see. Breakout. Did I put breakout player on, I guess, offense, but I only put
we said that already.
Breakout player on defense.
We said that already. Yep.
Okay. So we have left our favorite offseason moves, our least favorite moves, and then ranking the position groups like on a scale of 1 to 10, and then in the league. Do you want to push that off for next show? Because I think that kind of take a while.
You want to just do like the favorite one?
Well, I have 5 in order. let's do those two topics. Let's do them quickly, and then next show we're going to talk about the preseason game. We're going to rank the position groups 1 to 10.
Yeah, definitely not do that one.
We're gonna do the position groups 1 to 10 with a rating from 1 to 10, and then compared to the league. So kind of 3 different ratings for the position groups, the preseason game, and then the 53-man roster. That's next show. And then this, we still have to talk about the favorite offseason moves and the least favorite offseason moves. So let's do that within the next 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, I won't.
We still have to talk about preseason game 1, which we'll do it, 2 seconds on.
Okay, so favorite offseason move. Why don't you say yours?
And yes, Eagle, I know you hate Chris Herndon. My least favorite offseason move, well, until now, the number one thing was the quarterback, not having a backup quarterback for all the reasons we discussed before. I think that's a failure for your young quarterback to not have a veteran behind him for all the things we discussed. Now that they pushed that to Josh Johnson, I guess it's not the least favorite, but let's just say that's number one for now because it took too long. I would say I'll just go through mine. My number 2, and again, I know some of these positions, like we could talk about. My number 2 is no cornerback, but I know what they're doing. Like, listen, this is the year where it's kind of a like build it and kind of see type thing, where like you don't want to skimp out on offense because of Zach Wilson. You want to surround him, best situation, etc., for his development. But defense, if you're going to have the worst group, you want it to be your defense in this scenario because of Wilson, where like they could not be bringing in a veteran now because they'll sink or swim, and then next year, let's say one of these guys hits, whether it be Pinnock, Dunn, Eccles, and now next year you know what you have, so you're not going into the year with kind of question marks. Like they're gonna figure it out this year, So I get it, but still not having a cornerback, like at least somebody. Like they drafted a bunch of 5th round guys. So I would say it's my second least favorite. My third, no linebacker. I want another linebacker, to be honest. Like the Nicholas Morrow's out there, Jayon Brown's out there, even KJ Wright, who's out there. But again, similar situation, sink or swim.
Is someone consider? I heard that he's getting close to signing. Or
the Seahawks, maybe.
Yeah, I would love for us to bring him in.
Yeah. So quarterback 1, corner 2, linebacker 3. Kicker 4. And again, like with the quarterback thing, like there's just too much youth around. New coach, new OC, young passing, what Rob Calabrese is or whatever his role is with. I know it's with Zach Wilson. He's a young guy, so I want to see more experience in coaching and behind him. But what are a couple of your least favorites?
I didn't do 1 to 5. I didn't know that you wanted me.
That's fine.
The quarterback
freestyle.
Backup
quarterback. Moving on. Favorite.
It's really quite bizarre that they didn't. Most teams always want to have some guy to mentor, and it's bizarre that they took this long to finally sign a veteran.
I don't get it. I don't get why they didn't even like when Brian Hoyer was coming in. I was like, okay, he's played in plenty of games. That's cool. Yeah. And how often did we even talk about big guys? Like, you don't need a full. Like, you don't necessarily need a Foles, but like. Who was the 49ers?
Mullins.
Yeah. Mullins has played in games. He's not dreadful. He knows the system. You're going to a season or preseason camp with guys who've never thrown an NFL pass to be like, you want a guy to be there with Wilson. So I hate
the guy who played with the Dolphins and then he went to the Chiefs. I'm not talking about, why am I forgetting his name? He started his career with the Panthers. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name, but
even the Panthers went to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and the Panthers actually franchise tagged him. I don't know why his name is slipping my mind right now. Whatever. Oh, but like even like signing someone like him, like they could have done as like a backup, but just like someone with some experience. Anyway, so favorite offseason move.
I only said they had more pressing needs than a backup quarterback, I guess. Yeah, but it's their full-time job. They can address 10 needs at once or be working to. So it's not like, we have to address linebacker before we address quarterback.
Yeah, Matt Moore. Yeah, they could have addressed the backup quarterback like in like the 4th wave of free agency. Like after all the big signings and second wave signings, they still could have done it. Could have done it after the draft.
Mullins was recovering from an injury, but I'm not signing a backup quarterback. You want a guy to play, but I want him more for the mentorship of Wilson and him on a bum ankle or whatever it's more about the classroom and talking about things they saw. So it's not about injuries or stuff like that. Brian Poole, bit of a mistake. Yeah, but again, he played under Ulbrich, so he didn't really love him. But continuing, I have my 3 or my 5 in order. Number 1, Salah. Dace to Salah. It's a culture shock. It just is. Number 2 is the report structure changing.
That's good. I didn't think of that.
Love that. Absolutely love that. 3, Darnold trade. 4, and I like a lot of the moves, but I like the balls of Joe Douglas to trade up for AVT. That's my 4th favorite move. 5th is the new strength and medical program that the Jets are pulling out. They apparently revitalized the whole thing, and they've had a lot of injuries in the last couple of years, so it needs to be addressed, and they addressed it. So that's my 5th.
Wow. And do you know a lot of the details about the new program? Because I don't.
Apparently, they brought in ground-breaking sports medicine and all these guys and completely revamped it. So it can't be worse than it was. So it's one of my favorites. That's
cool. Yeah. I only have one, and I bet you can guess what it is.
Zach Wilson?
Nah.
Salah?
No.
What?
Well,
trading Darnold?
And you were I wrote fleecing the Panthers for Sam Darnold.
Well, yeah. So the whole quarterback situation, because like now what at 2? What about at 2 if they took Fields instead of Wilson?
Like we ended up getting more for him than I thought we were going to get. So I wrote fleecing. So
yeah. Yeah. I like imagine if we had Fields. I'm not nearly as high on Fields, and that's just not being biased because I put shows out before they were both drafted. So Lawson's a really good one too. Okay, Kyle. So again, the next show we're going to rank the position groups against just the league and 1 to 10 on the Jets' actual team. Obviously, we know the top ones, but who's towards the bottom? We'll talk about that. We're going to do the 53-man roster prediction, and I'll do a full film breakdown on the first preseason game, but me and Kyle will talk about it a little bit too, like recap it. I want to get Kyle's thoughts as well. So Kyle, with that being said, the last thing to talk about is preseason game. We'll do a show 5 days after or whatever it is, 6 days after it, but it is in a week and 2 days. So it's in like 9 days from now, I believe, Saturday night at 7:30. What are we thinking? What do we want to see? How long do you think the starters play? Kind of like just a general feel for it.
They'll probably just play a quarter, I would guess. It's usually what they do for the first preseason game.
A quarter? Like 2-3 drives.
Yeah, maybe not even a full quarter. But I do wonder though, because it's not 4 preseason games this year, it's 3. So
yeah,
maybe they give them in the first preseason game, they get a little bit extra burn than they would normally.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Ben asked this. I think he's new to the channel. When's the next show? It's every other Thursday, just because the main part of the show is the film breakdowns. And again, you can go back and listen to the schedule prediction one we did 4 weeks ago. And again, any player, I literally did a breakdown on every single draft pick, the top 3 UDFAs, every single free agent. I think I did like 13 free agents, but I still have like 3 or 4 to come out. Like Croft just came out, but I did Lawson, Moore, Rankins, Moses, whatever you want to see. There's hours of breakdowns on this channel. That's what the main crux of it is. But yeah, I think they play 2-3 quarters. You want to see their rookies don't look completely out of place. You want to see Wilson play well. No injuries is the number one thing in every single preseason game I watch, but I'm not going to take too much away from it. I'm really excited to watch this game. Like really excited.
It's tough because like one thing you want to see with this Jets team to compare them to previous years and know that they're going in the right direction is like things like communication and is everyone on the same page. But in preseason, you're not going to see as much of that because they're not game planning and stuff, especially in the first game. So it's going to be hard to assess something like that. But one thing I'm going to be looking for is, so we assume, well, we know, we don't assume that the talent upgrade is much bigger this year. So what kind of talent traits can we see jumping off the screen? Like if we see Elijah Moore making a dive and catch, like, okay, like we know if we see Wilson make a phenomenal throw, or if he makes a phenomenal play, like out of structure, like that's something like, okay, yeah, like this is a very positive sign.
Yeah, so generally we're looking for good play, no injuries. Obviously Wilson to ball out, more to continue doing what he's doing. I think we're both going to be rooting for Mims pretty damn hard the young guys. Like it's what we all want to see. I don't think there's much to break down. Like we'll talk about it once we see it, but we want to see everybody play well and no injuries. That's pretty much it. Obviously I may be more focused on Mims where another person may be more focused on Hall, but in general, we want to see the young guys. We want to see everybody play well. So
I think AVT is going to play.
I saw Eagle asked about it. I saw Eagle asked about it before. Apparently he's like day to day. So like they're still deciding if he's going to play. I tend to err on the side of caution. And if he's even the slightest bit injured, 1%, leave him out, Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. I would hope so. I want Zach Wilson to have the best line, the first 2-3 series he takes in the NFL, even if it is preseason.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see if there's anything else in the chat, and then we're going to log off. And then 2 weeks from now, again, every other Thursday, 6:00, we'll be here again, minus something happening with our schedules where we'll flex the show to a different day. Anything else in the chat?
Shout out to the one dude who gave a super chat earlier.
Yeah, always appreciate it. Ben said, I thought you were doing every other Thursday plus Monday shows. No, so we were doing we were doing one Monday. We were doing the first Monday of every single month. And then we figured we like doing this. We like talking to you guys. We're going to do 2 times a month now, but we had to decide on the day. And we had a discussion where the season's coming up during the offseason. It doesn't matter if it's Monday, Saturday, Thursday, doesn't matter. But we want to be able to watch the game and break it down because, again, you'll get film breakdowns on the show by just me. But Kyle wants to be able to watch the film as well before he talks about the preseason game instead of having like the hot take next day reaction when you only watch on broadcast.
Yeah. By the way,
on Thursdays.
By the way, you heard this BS that supposedly there's a chance that the coach's film might not be available at the start of the season.
Yeah, they put out a thing that's saying it might be back in like a few months.
That's some bullshit. You had a full off season to get.
Don't
that
worry,
shit
Kyle.
Figured out.
JetX got you. We got it figured out.
Okay.
We got it figured. Unless stuff dramatically changes, I'm not, and that's something I'm not giving up to anybody. I don't care who you are. You're DMing me. I'm sorry. You got to be JetX. I'm not gonna tell anybody how we're doing it. But yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right. So again, new guys, go back and watch the actual film shows. That's the main, that's the meat and potatoes. But we love doing this too. Kyle, any last words? I'm gonna try to close this YouTube show out, and I'm probably gonna screw it up, and you're gonna see me and Kyle with blank stares at the end of the stream because it's my first time trying to close out a live stream, so I might severely fuck it up.
Yeah, here's what I'm gonna say. By the way, Joe's not telling me to say this, and I'm not an owner of the website, but I'm gonna give my PSA announcement to a lot of you guys. I know a lot of people who watch this are members of the site jetsxfactor.com, but plenty of you guys aren't. And so Joe keeps talking about all these breakdowns that he's doing, and it goes well beyond that. You also got Nania's numbers, and you got a lot of other great work from other writers and stuff on the site. If you want all that content, join the site, right? You got a month free. Join free for a month. If you don't like it, you don't feel like you use it, you can cancel, but try it for a month. One of the, who was it before? Someone in the chat before, I think it might have been Dark Assassin, said that he just went on a binge watching all your shows, right?
Did he say that in the chat today?
Someone said they just went on a binge watching all your shows. I think it was him. I'm not positive. If you want to watch all those shows in full, you got to subscribe to the site. Try it out for a month. You get a full month. It's not like one of these week trials. Try it out.
Okay,
right?
and
Joe's not telling me to say this, so
yeah.
He's asking me if there's any other thing I want to say. I'm telling this to you guys. You'll learn a lot about the game.
Yeah, and even if you just do the month, or even if you don't, and even if you're just new enough where you haven't watched anything but this live stream, type in your favorite player who they brought in this season, and even just watch 20 minutes of it. And I can, maybe I can't guarantee, but I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that. Oh shit, that's how that works."
You'll learn a lot more than reading a Jets beat reporter's column about that player.
Thanks, Kyle. No, you'll see. Just go and try out Elijah Moore, AVT, all those, Carl Lawson, whatever. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you later.
Take care.